Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the GDQ Hotfix. My name is Sent, and I'll be your wonderful host throughout this evening as we play through the mysterious and wonderful Mystery Tournament Co-op Edition Top 4. Now, here to join me, of course, are some wonderful commentators. We have the organizer of this crazy event, Blasphemous Roar. Roar, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Somehow we've made it this far, and I can't wait to see the madness in store for us today.
We're gonna hold on to the end because that's what mystery is all about. Also joining us, we have the mystery veteran himself, Gickman. Gickman, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Are you guys excited for all of the crazy stuff we're gonna see today in top 4? It's gonna be insane. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, I know of only one thing in this. Everything else is a complete surprise to me. I organized the rest of the tournament, and one person was just like a certain somebody that I won't mention. I was like, I'm stealing your top 8, and I'm like, go for it.
Oh, so, as is tradition.
I know nothing about what's coming up.
Now, Roar, real quick before we get started, do you kind of want to give the audience at home a little bit of a rundown about Mystery Tournament in general, and particularly what's made Co-op Mystery Tournament so different and so special?
So, Mystery Tournament, as people may know, we recently had our 13th iteration of Mystery Tournament, which some of you may know is blind speedrunning. So you play a game, you and your opponent get a game that neither of you have ever played before, and you got to get to the goal before the opponent. Now, there had been some jokes in chat about co-op stuff. There's a notorious tournament, net play tournament, that didn't work because net play, it turns out, is really bad. So net play tournament has happened for about 5 years now. And it hit me one day that the problem with a net play tournament is that you're relying on lag to not be bad between you and your opponent, which is really bad for a competitive space. But what if your online gameplay was with a friend instead? That way, lag would be a thing that you could mitigate by knowing who you're working with ahead of time. And thus, the idea for co-op was born. And co-op allowed us to do some fun stuff. Because we didn't just have straight up races during this. We had races where we had somebody play Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where one person was playing the game and the other person was pulling up guides and navigating. We did an Ikaruga score attack. We did, one more mention is that we did WarioWare, where one player had control of the emulator speed up functions. So we did all sorts of crazy stuff for this tournament, and it gave us ideas for other ones. But in the end, it's been a complete mitigated disaster. I say mitigated because I was definitely running around with my head on fire for the entire tournament. But we did it. We made it here and into this spot where we have Osteogenesis Imperfecta versus Totally Spies, which is of note. Both of these teams lost their round 1 and made the perfect losers bracket run. So only one person gets to continue the perfect losers run at this point. So we're going to see who it is.
Yeah, and it looks like our entrants are just about ready to go, I think. Worth noting, Osteogenesis Imperfecta is a team made up of Mystery Tournament founder himself, Boney, and legendary old boy Mystery Tournament player Kyrulius. And their opponent is Totally Spies, made up of Y'all and some girl on SRL, both very strong players in their own right. It's going to be a great match, and oh boy, the game they have is just great to watch.
Oh, and Gickman, a note about Gickman, especially why he's here joining us, is Gickman was one of my fellow testers. So we went through a lot together, testing games and making sure that they actually worked for people. Which was funny because Gickman's in Sweden and I'm in Florida, and somehow we managed to make Parsec work perfectly with less lag than I even get on some games normally. So I don't know why these people had so much problem setting up Parsec. We had no problem, didn't we, Gickman? We were like...
I'm just surprised that Parsec works as well as it does to play local co-op over the internet. So, that's things you dreamed of a few years ago, but apparently it works fine nowadays.
So yeah, I think we should let's not keep the racers waiting any longer. Yeah.
Yeah, if everyone's ready, let's get this race started in SRL, and let me explain the first game that we're gonna get here today, because oh boy, this is a doozy. So First up, we're gonna have a little game called MegaMari, and this is just a classic game. It's a favorite of mine. It's your simple Mega Man run, jump, and shoot. Pretty normal game. Nothing going on that's too crazy. But here's the twist: there are 2 playable characters. You can play as Marisa, who has a hat, or Alice, who notably does not have a hat. This, of course, makes her inferior, because we all know, Marisa is much cuter. It's all in the hat. So what we're doing is, normally this game is completely single player. The gimmick is you can switch between the characters. They have different health, and they actually gain different power-ups between stages. Only the person who defeats the boss gets the power-up normally. We're having each of them play as one of the characters. So one person from each team will be playing Marisa, the other will be playing Alice, and they'll have to swap back and forth, make good decisions. Maybe the better Mega Man player wants to try and conserve their health for tougher segments or to buster duel the boss. Maybe they want to give the boss's power to the weaker player so that they can more easily clear the stage, or just use the weaker player to tank their enemies. There's actually a lot of strategy here. I'm interested to see how the teams are going to play it out, and I think we're just about ready to go. In fact, the countdown has begun, and the racers are off.
And let's go ahead and let me verify. There's the pasteman. Pasteman's safe to post, right? Yeah. I should have the ability to paste the pasteman, right?
Doesn't seem like it, from what I can see, at least.
Yeah, so chat, the thing that we know is that when playing Mystery Tournament, we give everybody a paste bin that gives them some very valuable information for the game, like some info on the goals and everything else. So this is the paste bin that we have. Oh, deleted link. Okay, I didn't think so. I might not be whitelisted then, or I might have been doing something wrong. Basically the paste bin gives them very important information on what they're supposed to be doing with the game. So they have some information. So let's take a quick gander at that paste. That tells them that their goal is to clear 3 stages: Cyrano, Sakia, and Raisen. These bosses can be tackled, and Sent will murder me for mispronouncing any of those, or anybody will murder me because I know nothing about Toho.
I was just about to say, like, how do you identify all of those girls? I heard a lot of random names, but I have no idea what they actually mean.
Well, it does tell them exactly which locations to choose. So, and then they know that Marisa is the default character. Only the player who chose Marisa should control the game while she's on screen. Alice may be swapped to by pressing the menu, pausing and menuing over to her. Only the player who chose Alice can control the game while she's on the screen. Bosses will drop their special abilities after defeating. Only the character who picks up the ability will be able to use it. And then it tells them the specials that they'll learn as a result.
All right, so our runners have pretty much information to try to digest while they're going through each here, and it looks like Totally Spies has some issues moving forward, while Osteogenesis is making pretty good progress here, from what I can tell.
Yeah, so Osteogenesis, I mean, particularly between Boney and K-Rulius, I know K-Rulius has definitely probably played a decent amount of Mega Man, I expect. I know he's a pretty old boy here, so... and Boney is probably as well. Oh, and there's a pit. I know that Jal is not a very big fan of Mega Manning, but some girl has played plenty of Mega Man, especially in particular the Game Boy games. And I know she watched me play like all the Mega Mans that I've gone through as well. So there's some knowledge here, but this is so Mega Man it hurts. Like, look at that enemy jumping him into a pit, and we have a game over from Totally Spies. And we have a game over from Osteogenesis.
Yeah, that's a synced game over right there. So I guess our teams are neck and neck here. Both of them just died and had to start over completely.
So yeah, it's important to note this is the top. This is the finals. These games are going to just straight up be harder than the other games. Because if they've made it this far, they can try to make it further. The main thing is that I don't know which one chose who. Do we know, Sent, do you know which one chose which character?
Let me go ahead and see if I can't figure that out. But while I'm doing that, I actually have a question for both of you, Roar and Gickman. Since you guys kind of tested together, you had that co-op synergy building. How would you guys handle a Mega Man game that you had to play simultaneously? Do you think one of you is naturally stronger at Mega Man? Would you say try to play most of the game as that person? Would you intentionally put the weaker player forward? Talk strategy with me here. How would you approach this game?
Well, I'd say for me, I would probably hope that Gickman doesn't decide to jump into a pit and then at the last moment swap to my character just so he could blame the death on me.
Well, if we were losing, I'd definitely do that.
See, this is the problem that I have. Definitely, I would choose the stronger Mega Man player to actually run through the levels itself, because the levels themselves are going to be a lot more dangerous than the bosses, because of the instant death pits that you have to worry about everywhere you go. So, like for instance, Totally Spies has now realized that you want to play carefully, because this being a race situation, it's basically going to be like give the person that knows how to Mega Man a little bit better the ability to get through the level, because boss fights, whereas they are hard, they're going to be a little bit easier to grasp than just the fundamental mechanics of surviving Mega Man platform.
Yeah, I think I'm with Roar here. I think putting the stronger player to sort of like manage the stages is a good idea. And then maybe if you know that you need to damage boost, that's when you switch in the weaker player. Let them tank some damage for you, and then switch over again to the stronger one when you need to actually make progress.
And particularly, putting the weaker player out to start against the boss will allow the stronger player to kind of sort of watch the boss mechanics just like directly. So it might give them an advantage on how to handle the boss in the future when they have to swap over to prevent death.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw a pretty good idea actually here in chat. Someone mentioned like swap person just before you take damage. You can use that as like one of the characters as a damage sponge, sort of, just to tank a lot of damage.
Yeah, and just keep it running all the way to the end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing that I liked about Co-op Tournament, is that it provides a lot of really different strategies. Like this is a good strategy from Totally Spies right here. Just laser beam the world and try to stay alive and ignore these these cherry blossoms here.
It seems to be working pretty well for them actually. They're making good progress, I think.
So like another thing. So one of the oh, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say both teams are actually coming up just on the end of the first stage. And it's worth mentioning the first stage is always going to be the hardest in any Mega Man game. Obviously, as you progress, you get more abilities. The stages become easier to clear, and you just kind of have a better feel for the hitboxes and the damage values of the enemies. But I was going to bring up the power-ups. Like we mentioned earlier in the paste bin, only one of your characters can get a boss's power, unlike, say, normal Mega Man. I think it's X6, X7, where everyone gets the boss's power after they're defeated. So how would you guys divide up the powers? The powers were listed out in specifically what they do, although no advice was given about which one to take. And none of the bosses are weak to any of the other bosses' powers in this specific goal. So weakness order is not a consideration either.
So we near that Cyrano gives you the ice shooter, which fires icicles in a rapid spread pattern. That's pretty good for clearing the stage. Alice gets Ice Crash, which builds up a big snowball in front of Alice and can be fired off. The big question is, does that big snowball manage to carry with you? Which is not described in the paste bin, so I'd probably go with trying to give Marissa the ice shooter, depending on which one of us were the clearer. If the clearer were if the person who was trying to clear the stages was playing as Marissa, which one is Marissa's the one that shoots the laser beam or doesn't shoot the laser beam?
Marissa has a hat.
I don't know which one's shooting the laser beam.
Well, the one who doesn't have a hat.
Okay, Marissa has the hat. Okay. So yeah, I'd probably give Marissa. I'd make Marissa the stronger player, because of the shoot ability. Because it's not the laser. The laser's pretty no skill kill for a lot of reasons, and I would give. In my opinion, I think I'd give Ice Shooter to Marissa, because spread shots for stage clears are really nice. Saki,
I think I agree. Yeah.
Marissa gains Time Stop, which, again, stops time and creates a ring of projectiles around the screen. That's another really useful ability for level clearing. And Alice gets Knife Toss, which throws several knives forward in an arc. Time Stop sounds so much stronger.
Yeah, it really does. I'd pick up the time stop ability.
And then finally for Racing, because we only have to clear 3 of them, I might have actually... So Racing gives Illusionary Bazooka to Marissa, which fires a missile blows on contact. And Alice gets Illusionary Yo-Yo, which fires a projectile forward and returns Alice. I think definitely giving Alice the Yo-Yo and using that for boss fights. Of anything, I'd probably tackle this game in the order of Sakuya, Racing, and then Cerno. So that we have the time stop for level clears, and then the Yo-Yo for boss fights, and then just handle Cerno at the end.
But we did see here that the Osteogenesis team chose not Marissa to pick up the first power-up.
Oh no, the Stompers, Big Eyes. Big Eyes are the worst, and totally spies you get stunk by a Big Eye.
Yeah, so Osteogenesis pulling ahead a little bit here, going into the second stage.
Yep, they're going to challenge Sakuya now. Now, it's funny, Roar, because I think, if I remember your selections correctly, you picked opposite every single time of what the speedrun takes. Alice's ice ball that she can pick up from Cerno stage actually does a whole lot of damage. It's big damage, which is very useful for the boss who's weak against it. The time stop is mostly used because it breaks the game and lets you skip a trigger later on in the Wily stages, but that's not really relevant for this category. And as much as I love the Illusionary Yo-Yo, it's not actually very useful, and the missile's really cool and has a huge hitbox.
All right, so another reason why I run the tournaments is because I'm actually pretty bad at the game. So rather than lose, I just get to win by running the thing and making people play to my pleasure. It's an easy strategy.
Slight fun fact, on the Osteogenesis stream, you can see that there's kind of an area below them right now. That area is completely inaccessible. There is no way to get down there, and if you go down that ladder, you just die. We think at one point this stage was supposed to have a branching path, and it just kind of never happened. But that's just some fun trivia.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But I'm so curious. You said the time stop was mostly useless. Doesn't it work like the time stop in Mega Man 2 in that case?
Oh no, here comes the Big Eye. Swap characters, don't let it hit you, don't let it hit you! Good swap, just damage boost.
They traded just in time. It works similar to the time stop of Mega Man 2, but it has very limited ammo, which kind of limits its usefulness. The knives you can get for Alice from Sakuya actually have very high projectile density, so they will beat a lot of things that normally it feels like would take 2 or 3 hits.
Oh, okay. Seeing the ice ball and seeing the spread now, I definitely would take a knife. Now that I see what they look like from the actual characters. Oh, but unfortunately, that was a game over for the spot.
Yeah, so they have to start the entire stage over. That's really, really unfortunate for them. That's gonna hurt.
That knowledge ahead of time, I would have gone with, but as soon as you see the way that this boss functions, it's just like, yeah, all right, take that that's a giant snowball.
But then again, I don't know if you really have the awareness of like having someone actually read the paste bin and think about this while in the middle of a race. I probably wouldn't have that mental presence, to be entirely honest. I just grab it with whoever killed the boss.
Meanwhile, Osteogenesis unfortunately fell down into a side area where you're meant to grab just some power-ups, and if you have a specific weapon from another boss's stage, you can break through. Unfortunately, they don't have that weapon, so they had to climb all the way back up the tower again with absolutely no life. And yeah, it looks like they just took the death. That's smart. That's something we always talk about a lot in mystery tournaments, and it definitely still applies here, still applies in co-op. Sometimes it's better to just take the death, to take the game over. Come back at a stage with full life, with full continues, with whatever you need, rather than try and struggle on at, maybe 1 or 2 HP and then hope you'll be able to get through a stage.
Now, can Marissa do a charge shot?
She does not have a charge shot. No, she just has she has the lemons, big lemons.
Aw, so hard to hit stuff with those. It seems like the hitboxes in this game are a little bit unexpected.
Well, the Toho series itself is kind of known for being a shmup or a bullet hell kind of game. So the hitboxes are very generous on projectiles, but that kind of goes both ways. It is also worth mentioning that Marisa's lemons do more damage than Alice's laser.
I totally wouldn't have expected the lemons to deal more damage than the big beam, but I guess that's just me.
No, I definitely would have gone with lemon being stronger. I figure because that beam just being able to just hold it out and just navigate a level, really nice. Just these Sakura angels though are really annoying.
And it looks like Team Osteogenesis found the gimmick of Sakuya's stage: disappearing blocks.
Yoku blocks.
Everyone's favorite.
Oh gee. I really don't like those kinds of blocks.
Yeah, they are having trouble with them. I will be honest, I definitely don't remember some of these screens. Normally, when actually playing the game, you take on Sakuya a little later, you have the Rush Jet equivalent, which unfortunately neither team will be getting in this category. So you can just kind of Rush Jet up this little passage. But instead they have to deal with Yoku blocks, they have to deal with spiked platforms, and it's not a good time.
I love that the game even has Metars.
What?
I love that the game even has Metars. Like, it's got everything that makes it a Mega Man game, but it looks like if the spies might be able to approach, they just gotta get past this big eye.
This game has actually copied so many enemies and mechanics. It's pretty funny.
Just watch out for the icicles! Alright, the spies are now facing off against the first boss, while Osteogenesis continues to make steady progress in this level.
I'm guessing it was a pretty conscious move there sent to not give them the rush yet when they're trying to do these disappearing blocks, right?
Sort of. So the way the Rush Jet works in this game is you actually get it as a reward for giving Marisa 4 of the boss's powers. If you give Alice 4 of the boss's powers, she gets kind of a beat equivalent from Mega Man 5, but it's actually not very good.
The circling beat or the pitfall beat? Mega Man 5 was circling beat.
Yeah, the attacking beat.
Yeah. Of note, beat is overpowered in Rockman strategy. That is a thing that many of you didn't know existed, and it turns out is a thing that is very true. Alright, Totally Spy's getting some good damage in on the boss. This is good. This is not so good.
Oh, they have a little health left.
Contact damage! Don't ever take contact damage!
And of course the game over again.
Osteogenesis now dealing with blocks. Probably a decent damage boost there.
Oh, and they missed the disappearing block, fall down. Do they have to do it all again? They fall even further down. Oh, this is so unfortunate. This is so painful. The death too. Did they really deserve this treatment? Did they? Poor Totally Spy still struggling with the first stage here. It's so... They must be getting pretty frustrated by now. It's really a skill to learn to master in these races. To not lose focus, even if you get stuck for a long time. You need to take a deep breath and retain your focus all the way through.
Yeah, and it's that's the core mechanic of Mystery Tournament in general, I think. Is don't get tilted. As soon as you get tilted, you lose. That's actually one of the statements that Andy will give you, one of our great mystery competitors, is that if you just don't get mad, you don't lose as much. And trust me, that is so much harder said than done.
Oh yes, anyone who's ever been in a video game race knows how stressed you become when you know what's at stake and when it feels like you're winning. And then imagine getting that stress, and you don't really know what to do. You don't have any muscle memory to fall back on. You still have to analyze. You still have to keep thinking and trying to figure out what actually to do. It is much, much harder than it might sound. So now Osteogenesis is actually making it past that big part, the disappearing block, making it up this very long ladder.
Yep, and this is just about the end of the stage, but they are going to have to survive an enemy gauntlet and another crusher before they get to the boss. And I'm not exactly sure how many lives Osteogenesis still has at this point, so this could be pretty rough.
Especially those. Oh, they've still got full health though for or almost. Oh, wow! You just run right past that enemy. Call it a day, huh?
Totally Spice for once here, having an extra life when they actually reach the boss, getting to start the boss off with 2 characters with full health. Is this gonna be their time?
They did have that last time as well.
They was just too focused at the disappearing blocks over at Osteogenesis to notice.
And Totally Spies gets there. Who do they pick it up with? And they go with Marissa.
Yep, they're gonna take Icicle Spread on Marissa. We'll see how it works out for them. Could be good. Could be very good for clearing. It looks like meanwhile Team Osteogenesis is restarting the Sakuya fight. They have they're trying the Ice Ball on her. They've realized they can channel it. Unfortunately, it's not going to do amazing damage. It's not her weakness. But if they can channel a fully charged ball on top of her for multiple hits, it should shoo right through her. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, and they're already going to have to swap off of it.
There are so many knives.
Yeah, there's so many projectiles. So much Toho.
There are so many projectiles, but I mean, you have to understand your hitbox. As long as you know where you can and can't be hurt, and as long as you don't take contact damage, you should be fine. Now, I think Saki is right about to go into her rage form. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a good attack to dodge.
Are you supposed to dodge that, or?
Yeah, I mean, there was almost dodging going on, but down goes Osteogenesis.
I mean, just end the fight before it happens. That's the optimal strategy. But yeah, they actually came really close. They know what they need to do, and they're going to go back at it. Meanwhile, Totally Spy is actually choosing to go to Ryzen's stage instead. She is the best theme music in the game. I love it. Everyone loves Bunny Sax. It's the best instrument. Her stage's gimmick, by the way, is a bunch of invisible floors and paths that don't really matter. Also, things knocking you into pits. That's the theme of her stage. Really annoyingly like placed enemies that knock you into pits.
Now, did Spies take an intentional game over? Because it looks like they did not.
I don't think they did, no.
That might not be a bad idea. I think they still had 2 extra lives, so getting some scouting on the stage is probably not a terrible idea. I'd definitely be trying out with the enemy density on this stream. Since they got the ice spread, I'd be trying it out. Yeah, they're taking an intentional game over.
Yeah, that looked very intentional to me. So they're taking a game over to refill their extra lives. Then they're gonna go at it seriously this time.
So again, for those that might just be tuning in, welcome to Mystery Co-op Finals. We had 16 teams. It was 32 teams. Sorry, 32 teams entered. We're down to our last 4 teams. Players have gone through a lot of beat-em-ups. There have been some really cool puzzle games. There have been some really great co-op platformers. We've had navigator challenges. We've had a score attack. So to talk about some of the more interesting goals, one of them we had was Metroid Zero Mission, with the goal to collect 250 missiles across, or 250 max missiles across both 200 across both players. So it was a question of, do you spread out and find more missiles and then convey where those are to your opponent or to your partner so that they can go back and collect it? Or do you continue on further and like try to find other things? So at one point we basically had where like one player had like 120 missiles for their team, so the other one only needed 80. Because a thing about Mystery Tournament is that goals like that do not work. They just plumb don't work. We don't want goals that give a 50-50 chance of winning. Because that's what Metroidvanias do when you're playing blind, is that since there are so many times where you enter a room and the room is the dead end and you need to go, that 50-50 choice loses you time, and oftentimes that loses you the race. So that doesn't work in Mystery. But when your entire goal is to spread out, divide and conquer and find information and convey it, we suddenly have a much, much more approachable goal that's able to be done. Wow, that ladder was hidden behind that health bar. So we've done that. We've done one where we played WarioWare, which is normally an auto-scroller game where you can't control the speed, except that player 2 was able to do just that, control the speed. They could speed it up to make games go faster. They could pause it to make sure that you got the hit on time. They could slow it down just to make sure that everything was better. But in the end, it's all about being... I liked that race in particular because what is Wario if not about being greedy? And we watched as people were speeding it up 2 times speed and getting destroyed by their speed greed there. And it was pretty great.
I really like some of the more creative approaches that's appeared in this tournament. It's been really great to see.
And the unfortunate part is we had a few other tournament goals that were really good that were submitted that we unfortunately did not get to see. But we've had the best part about this tournament is we've had developers reach out for us for this one, reach out directly to me that basically were like, hey, oh, look at that. Totally Spies trying the ice spread. It kind of sucks.
They'll find use for it.
Oh, if they just jumped straight up to the ladder, they might have had it.
It's definitely pretty okay for clearing out those giant fuzzballs that explode into multiple little fuzzballs. And it's not too bad for dealing with the random fairies either. But it's I would definitely say it is the weaker of the 2 weapons if you know what you're doing.
And Osteogenesis is still having troubles with this level, so that might be... This might be Spies' chance to catch up, but also not quite, because they'll still have to deal with that stage, and it could take them forever. But Spies has completely slowed their pace, like 100% slowed down, and is trying to take this game with survival in mind.
Yeah,
which
I
is
really
a
like
great
that approach.
plan.
Yeah, it's a really great approach. They're just like, sometimes to go fast, you have to go slow.
We also have...
What I'd really like to see them do more of, honestly, is just find a screen with enemies that spawn near a ladder or like an easy transition, and then just, repeatedly enter the screen, leave the screen, kill the enemies, look for that big health drop. Because, I mean, it's something you can do. It's something you really don't think about when you're trying to go fast. But at the end of the day, if you're just going to game over 3 times and not make any progress, and Totally Spies makes the jump, gets the big health, and then immediately falls in the spike pit.
It was almost beautiful at the almost.
Yeah. Shoutouts to the rolling shield in Mega Man X, prepping the casual player for Sigma, letting them just have full infinite health and stuff heading into Sigma, basically. Exactly that. You find yourself in a place where enemies can spawn, and you try your hand at it.
Yeah, I remember that trick from playing Mega Man games casually when I was a kid. It's like finding a farm point, farm up. You can fire a lot of ice daggers, I can see.
Oh yeah,
a lot of ice daggers.
Yeah, I'd be seeing if there's a way to respawn those fuzzballs, because that's value right there.
Totally Spies getting good health drops here. Back to full health. Oh, and an extra life. I don't think I've seen one of those before.
Yeah, I think that was the first time, definitely the first time I heard that sound effect.
Yeah, they're pretty rare in this game, honestly. Kind of going in tradition with classic Mega, where getting the extra life is bad luck. Although in Mystery Tournament, I'm sure people are wishing for more of those.
What about Mega Man 5 and all of its crazy amounts of extra lives? All right,
Well,
can they make this jump? Like,
Yeah.
and I do mean literally, can they? Like, is it possible? It does not look like it might be. Are they going to go back for it? This looks
they
like they're
can't.
going back for it.
I can't go up again.
They
Oh, no,
can't,
they
they can't
can't.
get back
Okay.
up there. Yeah, there's no ladder. Now, I'm not sure I actually agree with them killing all those enemies there. I think what they should do is, okay, they made the jump. I was going to suggest just take a damage boost off of that Fuzzball's bullets. You know, sometimes that's safer than taking the instant death off the spikes below.
All right, here we go. Osteogenesis versus the second boss again.
Yeah, let's hope they have better luck this time. They're using their snowball not very effectively. I think they're going
Another extra life for the spies. What in the what? Is that going to give them a free win?
I mean, that might carry them to the end of the stage, but even if it does, if Osteogenesis can clinch out this win against Sakuya, they'll still be behind. This is a close fight. They seem to have kind of the idea of how to dodge its attack.
Okay.
Pretty close. Oh, no.
Oh,
Nope.
There they go.
The daggers bounce.
No,
You gotta
no,
remember
run.
that.
Yeah.
Just jump over it or run underneath it when it jumps high. Don't turn around and try to kill it. Run away.
Yeah, Spice, run!
Just run, spies. Never deal with the big eye. Just run away from it.
And that's actually the end of the stage. So the spies are getting ready to fight Ryzen, unless they fall into this pit. If they fall into this pit, I'm gonna laugh. All right, they avoided it. Good.
Why is there
safe.
a pit there?
That's my favorite pit in the game. If you're not paying attention and just holding right, you will fall into the instant death pit.
All right.
That's so amazingly trolly. I love it.
Yeah, this is straight up. This is some Toho boss fighting right here. This is crazy. Okay, Osteogenesis. It looks like they haven't swapped characters yet, have they? I guess they had because they just ate it.
Oh, and Osteogenesis taking another game over. So painful.
Meanwhile, they're learning on the spies, and the spies got 2 extra lives throughout that, so they've got plenty of chances. This is some really... Look, in Mystery, we try to reduce RNG as much as possible, but, like, literally getting extra life from enemy drops, how can you possibly, like, stop that?
But there's always going to be some amount of RNG in every game, more or less at least.
Look at these dodges, too!
I was about to say, Totally Spies just did an amazing job of, like, weaving through all of those bullets, and then they kind of got hit by, like, 3 or 4 missiles in a row. But until then, that was an amazing dodge job right there.
In chat, have these runners played this game before? No, this is blind races.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Sent.
Ah, don't worry. It's impressive. It's impressive. I'm so glad I'm not on the playing end of this one. Because
Like,
trying to
wow.
dodge. Totally Spice is doing an incredible job at dodging, but they need to switch character really soon. If they get hit, they... Alright, they seem to know. Yeah, they're switching characters here. I think Totally Spice, the reason why the character switching took so long is probably because they were discussing it.
They might have been trying to, because yeah, that laser does not do much damage at all. So they were trying to maximize the amount of time that they had to hit it for real. I mean, this is the point where I'd swap back out to the other character to, oh god, the triple missiles. Now what?
That has to be some kind of rage attack. That does not...
Game
Oh.
over. I thought they had more lives than that.
This is so painful to watch. I love it.
I'm set. These levels, this game is going to take like 15 minutes. It's going to be really short, you guys.
Who was it that said that?
No, that was a different game for clarification. I had a feeling this might be one of the longer ones. I knew going into this, K-Release and Sunbro were both experienced Mega Man players. I did not know too much about Jal or Boney's experience with the series, but it really looks like even just having a single player who might be strong isn't going to be enough. You need the teamwork and the strategy here. But both of them have gotten to their second boss, and both of them have come within just like an inch of actually winning the fights. So I think we'll probably be seeing that second stage clear from both of these teams in the next attempt or two.
Yeah, we're definitely going to close in. And once we get towards that final boss, I mean, I don't think Osteogenesis is going to have nearly as much. I feel like when these stages are swapped, both players are not going to have nearly as much trouble as the either player had, because spies are already taking it slow, and taking it slow and methodical is exactly what you need to do on the stage that Osteogenesis is on. And Osteogenesis was just performing better at this level of platforming at this point. Now, when the mushrooms show up, if you switch characters, do the mushrooms go away?
No, the power-ups stay on screen when you switch characters. So you can, give the mushroom to the other character if you want.
Okay. Because I know there were some Mega Man games where if you swap weapons, you lose the weapon energy tank.
Whoever came up with that mechanic, like taking the power-up away if you switch character, that's just so mean.
Osteogenesis somehow got clipped inside of a block and made it work. I've actually never seen that happen before, so I mean, congratulations to them. That's a first.
Oh, wow.
It looked really like almost intentional as well. They managed to stand there on the single pixel at the edge of the block.
You get to see some crazy stuff in blind races. Like there was one time in particular that I found was really humorous, is that shortly after watching when you were at GDQ running Magical Poppin', we had a Magical Poppin' weekly blind in honor of that. And during that weekly blind, we had somebody hit. Apparently, there is a 1-frame soft lock you can hit, where if you hit the enemy at the same time on the same frame that it goes off screen during its death animation and get hit or something like that, it soft locks the game. So you don't see those typically in practice speed runs, and then it's just weird to see like that kind of stuff happen in blind racing, where like it's so incredibly specific. And so you get those moments where, like, when you're speedrunning these blind races, you go, wait 1 second, that's or speedrun the games that the blind racers are playing, and it's like, that's not quite right.
Yeah, funnily enough, actually, speaking of that, one of the blind races of MegaMari actually wound up changing the dynamic of the speedrun forever. Somebody in a blind race managed to get the rush jet equivalent I was talking about earlier, Mars's broom, significantly early. I think they got it like 2 stages in or something. And everyone was like, wait a minute, how did you do that? And it turned out that the blind race footage, slowed down, showed that by collecting a big energy power-up while you're full on energy and then pausing on the same frame, you could select weapons you didn't own. You could use that to get the rush jet early, which...
That's amazing.
I think it actually even changed some of the boss order you do the speedrun in when you can execute it properly. It's absolutely crazy that something like that was found by accident. But I mean, that's the joy of blind races. You get to experience games you've never played before, and I mean, sometimes you get to experience things in games that you've played before that you've just never seen happen before.
I guess another joy of blind racing, as Osteogenesis just experienced, is dying when the boss is just a sliver of health left.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a good strategy. Jump into the boss fight with the laser first to get whatever damage you can, because that laser is just pretty much plumb useless. They should be totally snowballing this boss, because that laser is not putting in enough work. I mean, if you can maintain parity against the boss health, though, which they are doing right now.
Yeah. And they tried the snowball earlier, and it really didn't work out for them. So I understand why they go with the laser.
So the real issue with using the snowball is it actually automatically fires away from you and stops charging whenever you take damage. So while it can build up to deal significant damage even to bosses who aren't weak against it, if you're constantly taking damage, it basically won't ever do anything.
Oh no! Oh, come on!
Osteogenesis, they're gonna make it.
Oh, they got it! They got it! They got it! They got it!
All right. Now, who are they gonna give this power up to? And as a side note, you can die after the boss is dead. It does not count as a victory until you've touched that power up.
Oh, jeez.
That's so horrible.
All right, Osteogenesis gets the first clear here.
Yeah, so Osteogenesis is picking it up with Marissa. What did Marissa get from that power up again? Please remind me.
Time stop.
She gets
Oh,
Time Stopper,
Time
which might be useful in Ryzen stage. Might let them get through some of those tricky areas without having to worry about the enemies. Definitely, like I said, really not good at boss killing or taking on bigger enemies. It actually bounces off of a lot of stronger enemies like Metools or the Big Eye equivalents in this game.
Oh, that was clever. Spies was trying to switch characters, but then stopped for a moment, realizing they were about to get hit, and that hit wouldn't kill them. So they took the hit intentionally with the one character switching.
I'm amazed that they were able to pull off a pause buffer strats given the restrictions in place. So as a reminder, this game isn't normally... what we're doing is that since there are two characters, each of them is only controlling the game when their character is on screen.
What the strong power-up!
Poor Spy is having to start again, and what is that thing?
That is Time Stop. You know what Time Stop doesn't protect against? Hits.
Yeah, I got to experience that. It doesn't matter. Shouldn't time... No, wait. You don't stop time for yourself, so you still take the fall damage. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Now, so at this point, it looks like they're tied up, but they're not. Osteogenesis is one boss, and they're on their final boss. Right? Or Osteogenesis is on their final boss stage now. Totally Spies just needs to be... They're doing a great job of dodging the boss. They just have to be a little bit better at it. I am almost certain that most of the teams themselves are surprised that neither of the other have finished.
Yeah, I heard a little bit of commentary there from both teams to the effect of, if the other team hasn't won in the next like 5 or 10 minutes, then I think we've got this in the bag. It's something to keep in mind. In a blind race, when you don't know where your opponent is, you don't know how skilled your opponent is even at this kind of game, it can be really easy to get caught in a downward spiral thinking like, oh man, we're so far behind. It took us forever to beat Sakuya's stage. How could we still be in the lead here? When in reality, Totally Spies has been having just as much trouble clearing Ryzen's stage. And they are, in fact, just about in the lead and about to head over to the boss fight. Now, it's funny, if they had actually fallen in that spike pit there, they would have discovered a secret room with an M-tank. But they managed to save themselves and land on the ledge instead.
What the? There's a secret room with an M-tank?
Yeah, behind a wall of spikes, as you'd expect. That's where I'd put my secret room.
Okay,
totally
yeah.
As you'd expect. I really feel that Osteogenesis have a great advantage here, having that time stop tool. Because there's so many places in the stage where there's just so many enemies on screen. Being able to clear them must be quite useful.
I thought you said the gimmick was that there were invisible platforms.
I said invisible pits, like the one
okay.
that M-tank right there. That's technically like an invisible hole in the floor you go through.
Gotcha. Is there anything that can use an indicator that exists?
I don't believe so. I don't think anything ever shows you that. I think you just have to know it's there.
Wow.
That's good game design. Osteogenesis is opting to not go for the extra big tank there. I think they see that going for that one is very dangerous, so they just opt for ignoring it.
Yeah, I mean, that's some good risk assessment there. They know they're low on life, but they also know we have an extra life. We can afford to die like once or twice figuring out the boss. Let's just swap characters and try and get through the rest of the stage.
Yeah, that's the kind of strategy that you get to use in co-op. Well, I mean, that's the kind of strategy you get to use in this game in one-player mode, but you have to make those strategy calls on the fly in co-op, which is pretty impressive. Communication is key, and we're definitely dealing with two of the better teams for communication. Because
it is really fun actually to see the kind of dynamic that's really like grown throughout this tournament. You can actually see how the teams have become better and better at cooperating.
Still unable to make that jump. Is that jump even possible, Sent? I think it looks like it is. It looks like it's like pixel perfect, but...
As far as I know, you do need the broom, the rush jet equivalent in this game to get that one up. It might be possible with an incredibly precise jump, but to be perfectly honest, I don't know offhand.
Yeah, and I saw someone comment on, is this really fast? I mean, I've seen people play this game really, really fast. Thing is here, these players have never played this game before. They literally came in contact with it 44 minutes ago.
Oh no, spies! Oh, that hurts. Yeah, these are
unfortunate.
These are, we know that this doesn't sound like normal games done quick fare here, but these are blind speedruns. This is what speedruns look like before they become speedruns. I mean, the first thing you got to do is clear a game fast, and there is a difference between playing games casually and playing games trying to defeat the opponent. Because in the end, speedruns, what is a speedrun but a race of the game against other people racing the game? Well, that's what this is. It's just that it's on the fly speedrunning, so it requires a more core understanding of video games that speedrunning doesn't. I don't know how to put it. Not that speedrunning doesn't have that core understanding of video games. We've seen a lot of speedrunners that jump in and do Mystery Tournament. We get some very commonly big names. You know, we get like Big John and the Mexican Runner, and I'll pretend like I know bigger names than that, and Captain Drake. You know, we have people that you know in the community doing these that do speedrunning, but some of them don't perform as well as you might expect because, you know, there's a difference between routing everything on the fly and having thousands of hours of practice. And make no mistake, these are pretty quick playthroughs, because if you try to do this on your own sometime, you might find that it's not as easy as it looks. Okay, Osteogenesis, moving on to the boss, looks like it has the dodges down.
Osteogenesis is making a very good job here with managing this boss's attack patterns, I must say.
Did they
throw
very
out
their special abilities yet? Yeah, they did. Okay, they're out.
Yeah, they did, but they made very good progress on that boss. I think they'll do this in an attempt or two.
Yeah, in all honesty, like I was mentioning earlier, Time Stop really doesn't do too much damage to this boss. I forgot the exact numbers, but it probably equates out to a couple of buster shots at the most. So even though they no longer have that ammo, I would not be surprised if they clear this boss. If not on this attempt, then maybe after another game over.
Did the laser just destroy the missile?
Yeah, you can shoot those missiles down.
Oh, how lovely.
Oh, wow.
And it looked like Osteogenesis found a safe spot, but for a moment.
Yeah, Osteogenesis has figured out that Ryzen's clones don't actually touch the edge of the screen. So as long as you're like hugging the edge of the screen, you're fine. Unless she, decides to jump on you. She is a bunny. Bunnies like to hop.
I don't know. Adam doesn't do very much hopping.
He's a pretty slow bunny, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's 10 years old, so.
Oh, and it looks like they couldn't quite make it through the triple. I imagine that's a game over. It is, but like I said, I would be very surprised if they can't conquer it on this continuum. I think they've finally got the rhythm of it down. They understand what their abilities are good for. They understand their patterns for the most part. And I mean, Totally Spies isn't out of this. They've definitely had more experience with the stage, more experience with the boss, but they're definitely at a noticeable deficit here. They're gonna have to make a miracle and start speedrunning these stages if they wanna make a comeback.
Now, a thing to note about Mystery Tournament is that there is currently in Mystery Tournament a rule that if a game lasts for more than an hour, or for an hour, it gets mod called. Whoever's got the most progress wins. And in Reject Tournament, it was whoever had the most progress after an hour and a half won, based on some of the rejects. There was no such rule for co-op. If it took you an hour and a half, unless you forfeited, it took you an hour and a half. So I don't know if the hotfix here is going to have us have to make the time call at some point, but I don't think our other games are long. And this game's pretty soon to be ending, I'm sure. But just an anecdote about that.
Yeah, it sounds like we have the time to just keep going. And like you mentioned, one of these teams is looking to close it out, so we should be all right. I think the bigger question might be if one of the teams doesn't think they can win. But again, mystery tournament, like we mentioned, you don't know where your opponents are. You don't know, how good they are at the game. For all Osteogenesis knows, Totally Spies is walled still on Cerno, or maybe they're fighting Sakuya right now and about to end it all. You don't know. You got to concentrate on you. And sometimes I see a lot of players, just in general, playing blind, playing mystery games, get tripped up about where their opponents could be. When it's completely out of your control. You got to focus on what you can do.
I really think that's one of the big charms with these blind races, where the excitement of when you start feeling you're close to the goal, and your opponent has not signaled that they're done just yet. The excitement of knowing, oh man, they might finish any moment now, but so can I. That's one of the best feelings ever, really. At least in my opinion.
Oh, and a game over for Spies.
Yeah, Spice is not even making as much stage progress as Osteogenesis at the moment. Though Osteogenesis has that very, very handy clear everything on the screen attack. Well,
you say excitement, but it's more like anxiety in chat. Yeah, I mean, so there is a lot of that. There is a lot of that. That's
there's
actually
a fine line.
I'll admit that's one of the reasons why I started organizing Mystery instead of playing in it, is because I do have anxiety disorder, and it sparked something fierce. So but if you do well under pressure and enjoy the pressure, it can be, it was never not fun for me, basically.
No, but I think it is a little bit of both, yes. But you probably need to appreciate that pressure and stress.
That's a spike.
Because
Osteogenesis. Those are spikes.
In case you didn't notice, those are spikes, yes.
I know they look like platforms. I mean, they are bamboo, and
yeah, but spiked
you...
bamboo, that's a staple of every Hong Kong movie, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, that and bamboo construction rafters, and oh man, these desperate jumps from Osteogenesis to get back up there without getting spiked.
I really love to see how they dance around those shots there. It's so good. I love it. I just love it. Totally Spies here, though, fighting up these foosballs, whatever they are.
Fuzzballs.
Struggling a bit with them, but finally seems to make some progress. They're pretty close to the boss now, I think. It's just a bit more platforming around these spikes.
I think whichever one of these players gets to the boss with an extra life, I think at this point is probably going to get the clear. Though if Totally Spies can find that save point, because that's the main thing that Osteogenesis has in favor of them right now, is that they know that the boss has a safe zone. And oh no, Spies, don't jump into it, just walk into the spot. That was a pretty harsh scenario.
Yeah, but Osteogenesis picking up an extra life here, that's really big for them. That's really, really big for them.
This looks a lot like an intentional game over. At least I hope that looks like an intentional game over.
Well, they could just kill themselves on the spikes directly
Nope,
if they
that
wanted
was an
to.
accident.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Or now I'm confused.
Yeah, maybe they're debating strategy. It's better to game over at that point or keep going. That's what it looked like to me. There was a short disagreement, and then they decided, yeah, let's just take the game over. It'll be fine.
I can see them mentioning here in the race channel that they're having some lag issues.
Yeah, that is unfortunately. That's the nature of the beast here. Unfortunately, lag is a thing that's going to happen on Parsec. The best thing, like, I don't know what to say on that one. Unfortunately, that was a thing that we knew ahead of time going into the tournament. Lag is going to be a problem. Lag was going to be a big problem. That's one of the reasons why we did it co-op instead of like versus modes, is because that lag management was because the lag management is all part of that. Knowing who you're playing with and playing around that basically, and having that kind of set up and reduce your connection the best way that you can.
Yes, but so due to like anyone who has any grasp of network infrastructure knows that like lag can happen at any time, especially when you're connecting between two clients like this, like you're doing with Parsec. So it's, or is, I don't actually know if Parsec is client server. It is, right?
Yeah, it's client server based on this hosting.
Okay,
but
okay, yep.
you know,
But still.
I mean, like anything involving internet, you know, you're just having a bad day of internet. You know, your service provider has an outage somewhere. It can happen. It's just kind of an unfortunate consequence of playing online.
We see Totally Spice here finding some kind of secret, going through this.
Oh, yep, they've found the M tank, but will they survive?
You can see them being confused there for a short while, picking up some kind of item. Don't really know what it is. Maybe.
I think some girl's gonna know what that is.
I think so too. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that wasn't a game over though, because I think that will cause them to lose it. But yes, they've picked up an M tank that will restore all of their weapon energy and health. I think that one's an M tank. It might be an E tank. I'm actually not sure off the top of my head.
So
definitely a very valuable item to have against the boss.
Yeah, we had a question in chat again. How can it be co-op if there's only one player? Each player controls one of the characters. Whenever they switch character, control switches to the other player. That's how this works.
So, on the note of that, we had one game in Mystery Co-op that was really fun. Was Super Mario World 1, which is every random X seconds it switches between player 2. So you and player 1, you're playing through Mario just like normal, except that it keeps doing this. It keeps switching between characters with no control between you and your opponent doing that. So you have to respond immediately on the fly to suddenly you're playing as Luigi, suddenly you're Mario, suddenly you're Luigi, suddenly you're Mario.
And that idea is just brilliant, really. I love that. I love that idea.
Okay, good movement from Osteogenesis, I said, and then they started taking hits.
Yeah, but Osteogenesis is in a really good spot here. They don't need to get much damage down on the boss, but they're really low. Can't take another missile. Can they get a last hit in? No!
One hit away. That was it. That was the fight, and they missed one shot somewhere. Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking. I think they can blame that one on commentator's curse, honestly.
Why would you say anything, Dickman? Why would you just...
I'm sorry.
No,
I just get so excited.
It'll be interesting to see after that if they maybe, realize that, hey, that last phase is really hard as Marisa because the missiles block her lemons. We need to fire more. So maybe we want to save Alice's health bar for the end there so we can shoot the laser through the missiles and not have to worry about it.
That's a good point. That is a very good amount of strategy.
It's a very viable strategy, but the question is, and it's easy for us to think of that, here sitting on the sidelines. After playing this game for an hour, being flustered, not knowing where your opponents are, sometimes it's hard to just sit down and make, completely rational decisions like, okay, maybe we need to swap up who's starting the boss and who's ending it.
Yep, that's one of my favorite quotes from Mystery Regular Freeball 1 is everybody in chat instantly knows the solution to a puzzle.
And that's so much true than you'll ever understand until you try this yourself. It's so hard to be smart and think about strategy when you're so stressed out and you have no idea what the solution is, and you have an opponent there that you can't see that is probably still making progress, or at least it feels like it.
I mean, every boxer has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah, there's something about strategy and encountering enemies, some kind of quote as well that's really smart, but I don't remember it. It's like, what is it? Every strategy survives. No, there's something about encountering enemies and strategies not working.
Yeah.
It's really smart anyway. You can make it up yourselves.
I believe what Geekman's looking for is no strategy survives the first contact with the enemy.
Oh yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Or as Alpha has mentioned in chat, everybody thinks they have a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's when you brick in a puzzle game. That's when all your plans break.
They said that. Alpha just ignores everything I say. Don't mind him. He'll be here to ignore everything I say later in chat.
Yeah, so Osteogenesis taking an unfortunate hit and just barely slipping off into one of the pits. It's so painful to watch that slow damage animation slowly creeping closer to the edge.
Do they have the enemy in a stun lock there? Okay, big eye down. Do they recognize the power of that E-tank? Do they have the extra life? Can the spies pick this up and start generating some momentum again?
It's looking very grim for our spies here. They really need Osteogenesis to get completely walled here for a very long time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to see whether they had an extra life or not. Yeah, we'll have to see how this plays out. I'm sure I know in my heart of that some girl knows exactly what she picked up. You know, they know what that slot down there is for, but hopefully,
do they have the extra life for it?
Well, there's
they do.
Okay, they do have an extra life. All
right,
awesome.
I think they've got this. I know some girl. She's got to know that that's what she picked up.
I mean, it's a blue tank. Of course, it's an E-tank. Everyone who's played Mega Man knows that's an E-tank, right? Unless you just played Mega Man X, I guess. Yeah. So this game, I mean, I figured it was difficult first time I actually saw it, but I didn't expect it to be this difficult in the end. I must admit, this seems to be far more difficult than I expected.
Yeah, the bosses are very bossy.
It's definitely also made harder by the coordination required. You know, playing this game as a single person, you can make all the decisions yourself. As it looks like the spies might actually win this fight without using the E-tank.
No!
Oh no, the double KO, game over. That is heartbreaking. That is just absolutely heartbreaking right there. Of all the ways to go out, they could have beaten Ryzen with their E-tank intact for Sakuya. You know, maybe a game over or two to learn the stage, and they would have been in there. It would have been over. At least they know where it is. They can go back and get it if they remember the screen it's on. But that tugs at my heartstrings right there. That is the worst way to die in a mystery tournament. That is the worst way to die in a Mega Man game.
Yeah, that hurts so much. Poor spies. What have they done to deserve this? What have they done to you, Sen? What has the world done to you? Oh. I love this.
Oh no. The question is, do they still have the energy tank?
That's a good question.
Oh, they still do have it. After,
nice.
After game over, I actually wasn't sure if you kept them. It's been a while, so they could. You know what? Maybe
they could go for the second one.
Game over. Just stack 4 of them. That honestly might not be a terrible idea.
I don't know though. Osteogenesis might just have this though.
I don't think they have the time to do all of those game overs and collect tanks. No, I really don't think they do.
They just didn't expect. They had the shot. They just didn't expect to get hit by the missile. All right, will they go after the tank? Yep, there they go. They're going after the tank. They know exactly what's in hand. They just didn't have the they didn't have the knowledge that they needed to use it. Like in most Mega Man type games, you can't die after the boss.
Someone in chat's actually mentioning that is a weapon tank and not an energy tank. Again, it's been really long. I didn't think either team was actually going to find it. And kind of forgot it was down there. We just when I tested this goal, you know, even though I was playing with someone who'd seen the game, you know, tons of times, we never got it because we were like, yeah, sure, whatever. No one will find it. Yeah, that might actually be a weapon tank and not an energy tank. In which case, I look even dumber. But I mean, you know, what's new? That's every Tuesday for me.
Basically. So how are we looking at?
I was just about to say, at least we know they didn't die out of pure greed. They actually died because they couldn't really do it.
So we've hit the hour mark now. The good question does come down to, are we looking at possibly Mercy killing this one?
I saw Darkman mentioning in chat a while ago that no, they're not killing this one.
Okay.
They will have to. They have to get through this.
Yeah, because there was no original rule. There is no mercy rule in the thing. So yeah, they keep going.
As long as they want to keep striving, as long as one team doesn't forfeit, you know, as long as it doesn't look absolutely hopeless, it sounds like we're good to keep going. So I mean, we can let the suffering continue. It's good fun for everyone.
Perfect. I love the suffering.
It's gonna be fine, and I mean they are getting better. They're getting better at it. They've had so many close calls. I still can't believe Totally Spies. They had it. They won, and then they might not have known. They might not have known that you could die after the boss was dead. Some Mega Man games prevent that. This one does not. But it was that was heartbreaking. And again, Osteogenesis even they were one shot away, and they shot a little bit too high, didn't hit her, and then took a missile to the face, and that was that. So either team could clear the stage any minute now. They both have shown they have the skills. They have the knowledge of how the boss fight works. They just have to get in there and do it.
It has been quite a long time since Osteogenesis actually reached the boss. This will be their first attempt in quite a while, actually.
Oh, yeah. Now that you mention it, I didn't even notice that it was like...
I wonder if Osteogenesis had some rest from the boss, maybe? Maybe that's beneficial for them, or maybe it's not to their benefit. Maybe they've, like, forgotten the patterns. Need to relearn them a bit, lose a life to it.
I don't know. I know that generally coming back to the boss after a break is a good thing, but...
Yeah, you know, taking some time off, taking some time to think about things can sometimes be a huge thing in blind games, even in speedrunning in general. I've seen a lot of people I know who run games. Myself, I've experienced that phenomenon where you just like, you take a month away from a game, you come back, you relearn it, you grind it out, you get a new PB. Same thing for blind. You know, sometimes if you focus too hard on something, it won't happen. You know, you gotta take a second, take a breath, think about it, figure out how you want to attack, and go from there.
Yeah, I really
Osteogenesis knows they can charge this, but just aren't.
I think they tried charging it earlier, but had no luck with it.
I mean, it's doing no more damage than her regular point.
Whoever is controlling Marisa on Osteogenesis' side is making a pretty good job, I must say. Dodging beautifully all of these projectiles.
Yeah, I did get confirmation at some point that Carulius was playing the Marisa for Team Osteogenesis, and some girl was playing the Marisa for Totally Spies.
Okay, so they did put their stronger players.
They put their stronger Mega Man players on the main character, it looks like. And it looks like they've actually saved time stop. They're just going to try and cheese Ryson out here at the end. with several consecutive time stops.
Why not?
One more. That's gonna do it. Yep.
Got
All right.
it.
Osteogenesis takes it in a hour-long, 8-minute match. What a slugfest. They picked good abilities. They picked good players on each characters.
And there's an
They had
immediate not moving from.
I don't blame them at all. We have a comment from Carulius. Hard video game in all caps. Can't disagree with them. Incredibly well done by both of our competitors. Again, as a reminder, guys, both Totally Spies and Osteogenesis ran the entire tournament of losers. They lost round 1, and then they just barreled through it nonstop, took every team out in their way. I believe both of them actually took out the teams that sent them to losers in the first place. And,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and Osteogenesis, they're going to be the ones moving on. But huge shout outs to Totally Spies. They played very well. They had some input delay. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game when it comes to online net play. And, we loved having them here. Best of luck to them in the future. They're both very strong individual players in Mystery Tournament 2, so I'm sure we'll see them back at Mystery Tournament 14.
Oh, yeah, some of them, I think that Jowl, I think, quickly approaching the winners finals, I think. I might be wrong. I don't actually know what the
something similar, yeah.
brackets currently are there. We've got Jowl is currently in winners 4 of Mystery Tournament 14, so there's still the chance that we'll see them again.
All right, guys, so that's going to be it for the first race here. We're going to be back after a quick ad break, so stay tuned. We'll have that next race up for you in just a minute. And welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, this is Co-op Mystery Tournament Top 4. That's right, Mystery Tournament, but with a co-op twist. We have, I think we had something like 36 teams of 2 sign up for this event. All of them playing games that they never heard of, they might not have ever seen until just minutes before the race. And we are down to the top 4, and I believe now the top 3 teams, as we just saw Osteogenesis Imperfecta eliminate Team Totally Spies and move on into Losers Finals. Now we're going to see who's going to drop down to face them in Losers Finals as we play our Winners Finals match between 2 teams full of just stunningly talented players. On one hand, we have Team Bathtub versus Team... something like that. Some number of teams. And joining me are again the wonderful Geekman and our new friend here, Sir Nico. Nico, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well today. Thank you for inviting me to this commentary.
Always glad to have you. What'd you think of MegaMari? How'd you think that race went?
That was an awful lot of jumping, I think, is how I would describe that. A little bit too much jumping, perhaps.
Well, I'm not sure if you're gonna like this next game either, because we got a lot of jumping to deal with here too.
Ugh.
Now it looks like, in fact, our teams might just be ready to go. Let's get confirmation on that, and then we'll get this race started. So next up, we're playing a little fun game for you. You guys can just see it on your screens here. I think it's called Super, 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 Super. And it is the engaging story of Jumpman, Dash Girl, Mr. Left, and Robin, as they have been combined into a single superhero, Super, 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 Super. So the way this game works is each button controls one of the superheroes, arrow key or face button of your controller. For instance, the B button might move you to the right. The X button might make you jump. The Y button will cause you to dash. And I am mixing up PlayStation and Xbox controllers, so this control scheme sounds completely unbelievable. You get the idea, though. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have each player take control of 2 of those functions. I think both teams have split it up so that X and B are one player and Y and A are another player, and they're gonna have to platform through this world. Looks like both of them are ready, so we're gonna get the countdown, and we'll be off here in just a second.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this race then. We're going to see some super play from these teams then.
We're gonna see some super, 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 super play, I think.
That's a lot of supers. I feel like that's an awful lot of supers for a game that isn't even finals.
Well, we're going to see how they handle it as the countdown has begun and we are set to go in 3, 2, 1. They're off. Now, like I said, it's just that simple. It is an easy run, jump, dash. Both of them immediately go to the right. Collect those orbs. Those orbs are having a little trouble moving. It's definitely a challenge when you have to move with your friend.
Well, they have picked up on using the dashes to go fast, which I think is a big deal here.
Yeah, the little silhouettes are checkpoints. So once you touch one of those, you'll save to the checkpoint. Now, as we can see over on Team's stream, they hit a checkpoint and they're experiencing some technical difficulties. What that does is that swaps all of the buttons. So now, Y doesn't dash, Y might go left, Y might jump. Who knows? You have to figure out how the buttons are aligned.
That doesn't sound very super.
I was just thinking, like you said, might.
Oh yeah, it is completely random and it's wild. Both of them are struggling with doors right now. Hopefully they read the paste bin that tells them the approximate order they need to do the areas in to open the doors.
What are these little sparkles they're picking up to?
Nothing. They are just bonus completion.
Oh, well, that's special. Super is the word I want.
It's super. Yes, that's exactly what the word you needed there was.
This controller schema seems pretty miserable, I must say.
I mean, it's perfectly fine until you realize that it just like every couple of minutes, if that. Sometimes it swaps, every other checkpoint if the game feels like being particularly malicious.
So I almost feel like there might be an incentive there to not hit the checkpoints if you think you can do the next jump because you really don't want to have to deal with a swapped control scheme.
Basically, there's no penalty for as long as you get to the goal. There's no penalty for dying other than being sent back to your last checkpoint. So there is a case for trying to make it all the way to one of the 4 pylons that they need to destroy. The goal of the game, by the way, is to destroy the 4 colored pylons and then leave the door they saw at the very beginning of the game.
Now, something that I think is helpful to note here, in our last race, both of the teams, they were playing over the internet. In this race, I believe Team, they're actually playing locally, and that they're sitting in a room together. I don't know if they're doing that with 2 different computers or not.
I believe, for fairness, they are doing it through 2 different computers. Although I imagine the latency isn't really much of a factor when they're on the same local network. But just for control preferences, if they both want to use a keyboard, for example, and not have to worry about getting in the way of each other. But it looks like they're finally figuring out how to move, and now their controls are about to change again. And suddenly, it's a nightmare. Meanwhile, over on Team Bathtub, they have destroyed the red pylon, opening up the red doors.
Okay, so they're like a quarter of the way through the game then.
They're about a quarter of the way through the game. Yeah, they're advancing pretty quickly. It takes a lot of coordination to understand, how your control scheme has been affected by this jumbling. It sounds so simple. Like, okay, I just need to know what 2 functions I have, but that gets really confusing when you go from having left and right to maybe only left and the ability to jump to maybe dashing and only going right, and the 2 of you have to coordinate. Okay, you walk left, I'm gonna jump, and then you dash. All of the movement is insane. They have to be 2 minds with 1 body, and it does not look easy.
All right, Team seems to be picking up all the little sparkles. I don't know if did the paceman tell the players to ignore these?
The paceman should have mentioned that the sparkles do nothing. Hopefully, they got that line. Hopefully that line got in there. If not, they might wind up picking up all the sparkles. But if both teams get all the sparkles, then we'll just call this a secret ending race.
Ooh,
I guess it's sort of a tradition not to read the paceman in mystery tournaments, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a thing sometimes. All right, so it looks like Team is really close to this red pillar, I guess. It looks like it's full of goo.
Yep. Those are the I'm not actually sure what it's full of. It does look like it has a liquidous substance in it, but whatever it has in it, it controls the doors throughout the world. Earlier we saw both of the teams looking at a blue door and not really sure how to progress. But as you can see, there's a large blue pillar here, and destroying that will allow them to go through those blue doors that were previously locked.
All right,
at the start of the game, they saw all colors. The paceman definitely does mention you need to dash through these to destroy them. So hopefully Team picks up on that. Yep, there we go.
All right.
Team
probably just
pick it up.
Struggling on how to actually execute that dash. Again, when you're not exactly sure how to dash. Team doesn't look like they want to go over the top. They're actually trying to go down below to get back through that projectile segment, and they're not having some luck with it. But they did figure out they could just dash through that little passage. Looks like they accidentally walked off the ledge.
And now they seem to be on the track again here.
Somebody in the chat asking about team. Heck, sorry, I have an emergency alert in Florida. Somebody asking who are the members of Team. The members of Team are Sammy and Soapy. I believe that they don't actually have like Twitch channels. They joined Twitch exclusively just to play in this one tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, for their first mystery tournament, they've really knocked it out of the park. They're obviously in winners finals of the event. It's absurd.
Yeah, meaning that they have not lost a single time. They, of course, they were the ones who knocked me and Alpha into the losers bracket. and then it was Team Osteogenesis, Porosis, or whatever their name was, Team Boney, bodying us out of the losers bracket.
Yeah, one can really say that their friendship is pretty magical, given how far they managed to progress.
That's the thing. You can be an amazing gamer, and we saw some, absolutely amazing Mystery Tournament regulars in this tournament, and we saw a lot of them just drop because they did not have the synergy with their partners that they needed. And these two seem pretty in sync. They were struggling a little bit at the start with the shared control scheme, but it looks like they're picking it up. Just like Team Bathtub, they're doing a good job there too. Trying to climb out of the pit.
The Team Bathtub is interesting. The two members of that team is actually pretty experienced co-op runners. They even have a GDQ submission in, I think, where they're going to do some co-op stuff.
Yes, Andy and Crankdud, who are both in Team Bathtub, they're going to be appearing at the next GDQ. They're playing N++ co-op, all the A levels, I think it is. So definitely look forward to seeing them at Games Done Quick, which of course will be on this very channel in a number of months, weeks, soon.
Yeah, pretty soon. Looks like Bathtub is heading back the same way they came here. They need to go over here to get to the next pylon.
Yep, that is the correct. They were given a basic set of directions in the pay spin of, hey, the first pylon's going to be the top right, and then you're going to want to go, bottom left, etc. So they know roughly where they need to move around the map.
Oh, Team is having a lot of difficulty with this next section. I think what they need to do here is just dash across these holes.
Yeah.
I didn't actually pay attention to what Bathtub did.
Yeah, dashing across these platforms is the only way to get through there. So they're going to have to hopefully figure out that the dash can go through those gaps. Those gaps are large enough to stand on, as you can see. Yeah, there we go. They figured out that you can just dash right through there, and you're good.
All right, so they're finally making some progress here, and they'll be seeing that blue, whatchamacallit, capsule flask thing soon. Oh, no, they fall! Oh, that was
very unfortunate, and they picked up the checkpoint again. That had to go back again.
Yeah, if I had fallen, my suggestion would have been to just plunge into the spikes, go back to the checkpoint that way, but that's not an option.
All right, and it looks like Bathtub has broken their final pylon, so to end the game, like I mentioned at the start, where they saw all 4 doors were blocking their progress. It's only been about 10 minutes, so hopefully they remember that. But they're just tearing through it.
The previous race was over an hour, and this one's over in 10 minutes. We sure have a lot of spread in our races, don't we?
I mean, game difficulty always is going to vary in Mystery Tournament, but honestly, I just have to kind of give this as a testament to Andy and Crankdud's, friendship and their individual and combined skills, because they made absolutely short work of this.
Wasn't this the game we had originally planned for first?
There was a bit of a mix-up. As it turns out, Totally Spies played this game this morning to practice in a completely random coincidence.
Much to their chagrin, since the game they got was obviously a lot more difficult for them.
But yeah, that's gonna do it if they can just get over these checkpoints and through this last door.
Is this a final boss fight here where Bathtub currently is, or?
There is no final boss fight. They're just free to leave.
Oh, I was so hoping for a boss fight with changing controller schemes.
A boss fight with changing control schemes would just that would be horrible. I'm sorry, I could.
It would almost be as bad if 2 different players had to work together to fight Mega Man bosses. That would almost be that awful.
I mean, what could you say? But I mean, that's already gonna do it. Team Bathtub destroys that game and moves on to grand finals in absolute style, leaving team to drop down and fight Osteogenesis Imperfecta in the losers bracket.
So they'll still have a good chance to make a comeback here. They fought through quite a few different matches already. So there's a still chance that they may have an opportunity to go back up against Bathtub in the winners final, in the grand finals.
Yeah, maybe this can actually give them some incentive to get revenge on Bathtub. Having their only loss be to them, so they need to get back at them.
Yep, I think I see the green goo.
It's definitely not over for Team. They can come back. They have what it takes to defeat Osteogenesis. I believe in them. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that in the losers bracket coming up here in a minute. Looks like they're gonna try and finish. You know, I respect them for that. Take the time, practice. You know, get used to that coordination with each other. It's probably been couple of weeks since they've actually played in the tournament, since winners bracket finishes a little bit earlier, since there's so many extra losers rounds to run through.
Yeah, this was kind of a nightmare for scheduling, because it's hard enough in Mystery Tournament. We get a lot of races where it takes two people a lot of trouble to figure out when they can coordinate time zones, and it just gets even harder when now it's 4 people who have to coordinate to get a race done. Ooh, nice jump and dash there for Team.
It's really fun to see that some controller configurations are much harder to manage than others. In some controller schemes, you can really see everyone making really good progress, and there's some controller schemes where just jumping over a simple pit seems to be an incredible challenge. I really like that dynamic of this game.
Well, I think all the games that Team played so far were games where they each got to control their own characters. I know one game they played was climbing a tower, and one player could climb on walls and one player could hover, and they had to work together. And one of the games they played was a puzzle game where they had to walk around in first person and then just talk to each other about what they saw to figure out codes. So this may be something that taxes them for a little more of an input precision, because they've got to now, not only they got to run and jump over things, but they got to do it with 2 people working together to run and jump over these things.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging. It's again, a lot of this tournament has been multiplayer beat 'em ups, multiplayer platforming games where you're just doing separate things. You're doing separate things together with the same goal often, but you're doing separate things. Here you have to be like one. You have to have the same ideas. You have to have the same understanding, and you have to understand like the delay the other person has. Even if you're thinking like, okay, we'll run right and then we'll jump, you have to take into account the fact that, okay, well, there's a couple of frames of lag, so I need to start my run earlier. I need to jump a little earlier than I think, so my partner can dash at the right time, etc.
Team missed that checkpoint. They went back for that. That was smart, because they're afraid that they're gonna have to redo all those swinging maces if they hit something.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty scary. And yeah, they remember they need to go up to the top here. They didn't get the checkpoint right below that. That's also smart, because they're worried that it's going to mess up their control scheme, I think. Oh, no, they just decided to get it that time. Might as well.
The game doesn't even tell them what it changes their control scheme to, does it?
No, you have to experiment to find out every time what your control scheme has been changed to.
Uh-oh, they missed a door somewhere.
Oops, it looks like they didn't hit the green switch.
So the green switch was on the lower right.
Yeah, the green switch was the lower right. So yeah, it looks like they're going to go back down there now and tag that. Yeah, some of these control schemes, you could tell, like they're zooming. They know exactly what they want to do. And they're just, they're breaking away. And then some of these control schemes, they're kind of like moving back and forth. It looks like maybe they're both pushing buttons at the same time. They're a lot less confident about it.
Yeah, I really like that dynamic. It's so fun to see.
Here, they're going to the bottom path now instead of the top path.
Yep, they have to go to the bottom path here. The top path is locked and open that green door. But it looks like they're going to get through it just fine.
All right, so they're figuring out there's a jump button. They figure out there is a button that lets them jump. Ooh, here we go. Here's the green goo.
The path to the green goo was much shorter than many of the others, it seems like.
Yeah, unlike some of the other goos, though, you can't take the same path out. You have to, backtrack up that shaft, and that shaft is pretty hard to get out of sometimes, especially with that checkpoint. Although it looks like they're just gonna try and go back up the wrong way, which I don't think is possible. Maybe it is. Maybe they're just gonna be that good.
Maybe they're gonna show you wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be the first time, frankly.
It would be really funny if they actually managed this. But it looks like one of these jumps is too high.
That's what I thought. I thought the last jump was just a little too high to make, which is going to be a horrible realization. Also, just the wall of... Oh, no, I think that is possible.
No, one of them convinces the other one that no, that's not the way you want to go.
At some point, you just have to have the discussion of, all right, let's just go back. This is clearly wrong. Let's try a different direction. Now, I want to point out that one of the developer-suggested achievements for this game was beat the game without ever changing the hero you're using. And I'm not entirely sure how that's possible, but the creator of this game is an absolute mad genius, so I believe it. If I hadn't mentioned earlier, by the way, this game was actually created by our good friend Daniel Linson. I think he's had a platformer game in top 8 of every mystery tournament ever. The man does some amazing work. He's super well known on the freeware circuit, and always love his submissions.
All right, come on, team. You gotta just climb. You gotta climb up.
This one's always particularly bad because if that checkpoint at the top messes with your controls, there's a 25% chance you dash right off that platform.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah. Holding right might turn into a dash all of a sudden.
Yeah, the right button you're holding might suddenly be dash, and then you just fly away, and bad things happen.
Just die. Just hit a spike.
Yeah, I mean, dying would just take them back to that checkpoint if they hadn't activated... oh no, they didn't activate the bottom. Yeah. That's something hard to realize, though, that, like, you know what? Rather than try and, do the hassle to get back up there, we should just let something kill us. It goes against every instinct in your body, you know?
No, when you've played enough Mystery Tournament, you start realizing that sometimes mercy killing your character is a good way to move forward.
Yeah, we had a question again in chat, like, why does it take so long? Is it hard to control? And the thing is, your character has 4 movements. You have walk left, walk right, jump, and dash. And these 4 movements is separated between 2 players. So one controls 2 of these features, and the other one controls the other 2. And who controls what is swapped every time you pass a checkpoint, or can be swapped. So that's why it's pretty difficult to control this. One might control left and jump, and the other one controls right and dash.
And the buttons they're mapped to are switching around, so your jump button is suddenly your right button.
Yeah. So you really need to like remap your controls in your head at almost every checkpoint.
Oh, come on, team, you're almost there. All right, jump. No, don't touch the spike. They're not going anywhere near that spike when it's up.
Yeah, they're taking this very carefully. So the game is called Super. I don't really know where it's available, but you can just go out and Google it, and I'm pretty sure you're going to find the information you'll need. So here there's 4 checkpoints in a row. That means your controller schema is remapped 4 times after one another.
Alright, here we go. They got through that.
Here they come up the final stretch.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, this is the last part.
On the other hand, I mean, you might have gotten that last game. You might have been doing Toho Mega Man, and you think, man, I'm glad I got this game. Whew, all right.
That's the fun of Mystery Tournament. You know, you never know what you're gonna get. Again, Team definitely isn't out of it. They're gonna go down into our losers bracket. They're gonna play against Osteogenesis Imperfecta in losers finals. We're gonna bring you guys that match in just a minute. We're gonna take a short break to get everything set up. So hey, stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes with losers finals: Osteogenesis Imperfecta versus Team. Welcome back, everyone, to Co-op Mystery Tournament Top 4. Now I believe it's down to the top 3 as we head into our Losers Finals match with Team Osteogenesis Imperfecta versus Team. And what a match this is shaping up to be, guys. But before we get into that match, let me introduce some new commentators I have here to help me. I have the always wonderful admin of Mystery Tournament, Alpha 5. Alpha, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good to hear. And of course, we have a long-time Mystery Tournament competitor. I think, MT2, MT3, Mythical 9. Mythical.
Yeah, that's me. I go way back. Never entered Mystery Tournament. I am a Mystery Tournament F. I love it, and I love talking in it. But yeah, I lack the practical experience. I'll be leaning on you guys for that one. I also have no experience with the kind of game that's coming up next.
Oh, don't worry. The game that's coming up next is going to be great, and I cannot. Honestly, it's probably going to be one of the shortest games we see, and I mean it this time. But man, it's one of my favorite, and it's a game that I'm genuinely looking forward to playing when it's completely finished. We'll just be running through a demo of it today as part of the tournament. But meanwhile, it looks like the players are still taking a little bit of time to get set up. I don't blame them. This is a bit of a complicated game. We didn't. As we mentioned earlier, usually we give the players a paste bin to go off of when we give them a new game, just to give them basic information like, hey, X is going to be jump. You should set, your X button to something reasonable. Z is going to have an important function. Don't unbind your controller kind of thing. With this game, I gave them a web page because there's just that much to soak in.
I think Carulius just said, as soon as he took a look at it, just said straight up, like, I need some time. I need some time with this to read.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna one down. They're definitely gonna wanna see what's. So, just as a random question, Alpha Mythical, what experience do you guys have with traditional fighting games? Your Guilty Gear,
a little bit. In college, I got bodied a lot by one of my roommates who played a ton of Guilty Gear and. What was that? BlazBlue and Tekken and all of those, just really good at those. So I got kind of okay, but nowhere near that good.
I mean, that sounds like the traditional FGC experience right there. Get bodied by your friend who's way better than you. I too have been on the receiving end of that. Mythical, how are you doing?
I played a lot of Smash Brothers. That's a fighting game, right? I'll receive your opinions on Smash. Traditional fighting games of the, like a Street Fighter kind of style. I struggle to throw a Dragon Punch, so that's where I'm at. I would really struggle with this game because it really does have a lot of traditional fighting game inputs to do a lot of these moves.
So I mean, on the bright side, the inputs in this game are very simple. They're forward plus button, up plus button, down plus button, some dash cancel stuff, a lot of things mapped to different buttons on the controller. Definitely had to make sure everyone had a controller to play this game. This is not really a game you want to be trying messing with on a keyboard. Just checking in on the racers here to make sure that they are ready to go. And hopefully we'll have the race starting short, and I can't wait to reveal it again. It's gonna be one of my favorites. There's not even gonna be enough time to talk all about the crazy stuff that's going on here.
Are there plenty of quarter circle forward inputs? Do we have a lot of Hadoukens in this game?
No. The hardest input in the game is going to be a forward heavy input in the middle of a combo. That's really about as difficult as it gets. This game is super beginner friendly, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these two handle it. I'll be honest, there's no gimmick here. There's no trick. These controls aren't going to switch up. They're not suddenly going to be playing like a versus fighting game or anything. This is a straight up beat 'em up we're about to see. And one that could probably be taken down pretty quickly if both of these teams understand what they're doing, know what their most damaging attacks are, know how to combine them very well. But the game is incredibly mechanically deep, and we're going to have to see how these players react, one, to a move list that's like 2 pages long, and 2, to each other and figuring out how to combine those moves for the most benefit.
So what? This game is going to be a beat 'em up where every individual screen that it locks you in is just co-op BlazBlue.
Yeah, kind of. That's a good way to describe it. Looks like everyone can see it on screen now. The game is Shattered Realms. And it is basically kind of like if anime fighting games and beat 'em ups, got got together and made a weird mixed game, and it's super cool. You have like Roman cancels where you can cancel your attacks into a neutral state by spending meter. You have EX move, certain hits ground bounce or wall bounce. You can do all these crazy juggles. Enemies can tech out of your juggles, unlike a traditional beat 'em up. So if you're not doing proper combos, they can just tech out and hit you right in the face. That's really going to come into play against the boss, who has some combos of his own, and they hurt.
It sounds like the skill ceiling here is immense, and I'm wondering, are they even going to get off the skill floor here, or are we just going to be seeing a lot of mashing of the basic combo?
Yeah, if everyone's really bad at fighting games, this could go really poorly.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I played through this the first time, and it took me like 18, 19 minutes or something. And then I played through it again, and it took me like 10, just, understanding how to combine moves and do things properly. It looks like we're having just a quick button check from both of our, as is fighting game tradition, you got to have a button check before you actually start the match. Very important.
Actually, the way that these guys are moving around on like the horizontal plane, I actually really like that movement. I feel like you could chain everything together and just move so fast if you want to.
Everything is dodge cancelable. Everything is dash cancelable, and you can attack out of dashes, even in the air. So
and the inputs aren't hard.
And the inputs are really easy. It's just double tapping directions.
Man. This is totally my game. I would love this. Yeah. See Nico in the chat. He was my partner for this tournament. Fun fact, the two teams that beat us were this team and the other team that are in this race. Both team and Osteogenesis Imperfecta. In like the first 4 rounds, so rigged against us. Hate everything. But
I mean, you can say you went out 2 of the top 3 teams.
Yeah, we did.
There's no shame in that.
The 3 we played 4 teams. Of them, we beat Totally Spies. We played against Team and lost in like a 10-minute puzzle game, and we lost to Osteogenesis Imperfecta in what was it? The Punisher arcade game by 12 seconds. But.
Right. So it looks like both teams are just about ready. They're picking sponsors. We told them not to pick Greed. Greed actually doesn't do anything in this build of the game. But Angel gives really you additional health. But Tengu actually gives you additional EX moves, and you build meter faster, which I think might be the faster choice overall. But Angel's definitely the safer choice. Both teams are going with Angel. Both teams are going with the same colors too. Lynx has 6 or 7 different colors you can pick from. And both teams have chosen the light blue, dark blue schemes.
Maybe they just want to be able to tell each other apart, or get the lightest color and the darkest color.
I mean, that's not a bad strategy. And 3, 2, 1, the race is off. So, like I mentioned earlier, this game is Shattered Realms. It is a beat 'em up, kind of styled after anime fighting games. The big addition to the game is the inputs are really easy. Everything is just light, medium, and heavy plus a direction, or light, medium, heavy in the air plus a direction. The real skill is going to be seeing how they control their characters and how well they get through these areas. Death isn't too bad. It just restarts the stage. And there's only 4 stages in this demo. So this could be over pretty quick, or it could be a bit of a slog. We'll have to see how they handle it.
So, just one question about this, because I see, when you do the heavy hit, it does that little pause for effect type thing. Does that affect everything in the game, or is it just only the person doing the attack that they're just gonna lag up a little bit?
That does lag the entire game. So yeah, if you do those heavy blows, they do a little more damage, but also they take a little more time. So we're probably going to see a pretty neck and neck race here. We actually see a super coming out of Osteogenesis there. That is the double tap forward plus heavy. And it slows down time a lot, but it also does a massive amount of damage. Really good if you can combo into it so that people can't tech out.
Yeah. I'm just going to take a guess here in that a lot of them, I know Osteogenesis, they played plenty of beat 'em ups on their way up here, are probably going to be looking for what seems to do the most amount of damage, just experimenting with random moves. Can't quite tell if... Are they out there both on level 2 now?
They're both on stage 2, yes. This introduces the heavy enemy, who like to stand just outside of your attack range and hit you with attacks that seem to have more priority than yours. So, we're in that first stage, you definitely could just kind of mash on the light or medium buttons to handle most of the enemies. In this one, you're going to have to put a little more thought into it, maybe do some dash cancels out of some of your moves. do some real combos that can actually take them down in one hit, or they could cost you a good bit of time.
I'm seeing at least one player on Osteogenesis who is doing a lot of aerials, doing the launcher into the air combo, and I'm wondering if there's an inherent advantage other than I don't know. You said they can tech out. Can they do that in the air? Is that, or do you get a full combo there?
They can if the scaling gets a little high. So like a traditional fighting game, as you hit the enemies, the damage scaling increases and the combo duration increases. And eventually, if you don't use hard enough hits, the combo will drop and it won't be real anymore, and enemies will have a chance to tech out. It really doesn't matter being on the air or being on the ground. There are some advantages to being in the air, like being able to ground bounce the opponent, which can help you get harder damage on them. But it's just personal preference, and everything kind of flows into everything, so you really can just do whatever in a lot of situations.
Now, are they going to have fun to fight boss characters who use the same rules as them? Is that going to be a thing?
Oh yeah, so we only get one because again, this is a pretty short demo. As both of them are actually tearing it up. This is pretty fast. I didn't think they'd both adapt to this as quickly.
Do we just pick another game if they both finish in 5 minutes?
We'll see. The boss can actually kill you. He is very scary. As we see both members of Osteogenesis combine a super there, just completely clears out that wave of mooks. This is really close. Stage 1-3 introduces these blue mohawk guys. They're blue. They slam the ground. It makes a little shockwave thing. They're really annoying.
I like that the leading info about them was that they're blue.
The
important stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only way to differentiate them. They're kind of a palette swapped red muscle guy, but they're blue. They're more annoying, but they're not anything too hard to handle.
Yeah.
Both teams look like they have a good hand on just doing heavy combos there. We see an EX move out of Osteogenesis. Whenever you see the character flash yellow, that denotes EX move, which takes one of the little meters you see below their health bar, but has additional effects like more damage, more hits. It might ground bounce, wall bounce, etc.
The very little amount of times I've seen them get hit makes me want to think that they probably should have taken Tengu, but the boss could just probably ruin their days if they did that, so don't know how much damage he does yet.
He does a lot of damage, and can burst, which is something we haven't talked about. When you're taking hits, you can spend 2 bars to become invincible and deal some damage to anyone around you with a burst.
Okay.
So in
That
addition to
mechanic seems familiar to me.
all the fighting game mechanics layered on here, there's also still a beat 'em up. So like basic beat 'em up strategies of grouping and corralling the enemies that come on screen still apply here. They're just flooding in from both sides of the screen though. So with 2 people, you're getting a lot of joining them into the middle, and instead both teams seem fine to just attack on the sides.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the one guy on Osteogenesis just keep just stretchy arm just repeatedly, and there's another lead swap again. And is this the final stage?
Yeah, this is the boss.
All right, 5.5 minutes in, we're on a boss fight. We'll see how this goes, how the players are able to work together now that they have one target and they both know who it is on this mess of a screen they should be fighting. And
Osteogenesis seems to be doing a pretty good job of juggling him right now.
You can see the boss can tech out. The boss just bursted there on both screens, it looks like, and then went into a bit of a combo. Hopefully both teams learned about the dodge button. That's an important button.
Doesn't seem like anybody.
Team just got totally opened up by some meaty overhead looking thing, so no dodges there. But the health bar's very close on both sides. Bit of an edge for Osteoporosis. I want to say Osteoporosis every time. Osteogenesis, rather, has the lead by, I don't know what that is.
I'm enjoying this aerial juggle that they have going on here.
Oh yeah, they have some amazing aerial synergy going on. This
is so close, and this is only 6 minutes. Can we just make the grand finals a best of 5? Because it's over.
It is actually over. That's actually, I think, 30 seconds faster than I've seen anyone do the game. So, I mean, huge shout outs to Team Osteogenesis for that. They kind of tore this up. I played through it again in like 10 minutes or so after being experienced with it. And I think I saw someone did a run of it on YouTube in like 7. So yeah, that was kind of insane.
That was gross.
You know, when you do these mystery game tournaments, you do your best to craft a goal that makes sense for the tournament and as a competition, and you do your best to make it work. And then sometimes someone's very, very good at whatever you created and exceeding expectations on both sides. Even team, you know, finishing second here today, but just a couple seconds back, still only 17 seconds faster than whatever that speed run was on YouTube. Like, both teams doing absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, both teams doing absolutely phenomenal. Again, like I said, I saw an actual run of this that took a little over 7 minutes. That was insane. No, you know, team came so far. They came so far off of nothing, and it's got to be a hard way to go out. But at the same time, that was it looks like everyone had a lot of fun. So I mean, at the end of the day. Definitely a different game though. Definitely something interesting, something you're not expecting when you go into a top 4 like this. You know, sometimes you get the hour-long MegaMari game. Sometimes you get 7 minutes of a fighting game beat 'em up. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It's up in the air. It's crazy.
So there's some discussion happening about the nature of the race, but as that gets sorted out, I gotta say, that was a really intimidating game, I think, for the players. I think with all that information to take in, they must have been pretty worried, but then totally knocked it out of the park. So I think for the winning team moving on, that's going to be a pretty big relief, pretty big motivation booster.
I feel a little bit bad for team because they had a total of 17 minutes of of being in the top 4, I guess. Yeah,
they pulled some short ones, but I mean, like I said, that's just how the dice roll sometimes. And
So-
you know, again, at the end of the day, it sounds like everyone had fun. Definitely glad to have them here. I'm sure we'll see more of team in the future in Mystery Tournament. They seem to be incredible competitors and incredibly talented, and looking forward to seeing them in the future. But for now, we got to move on because we're setting up for our grand final match here. This one's going to be a best of 3 with Team Bathtub coming in with a 1-game advantage since they're still in winners. You know, got to give them something for that. But they're going to be playing Osteogenesis. I keep thinking Osteoporosis because Alpha has tainted my mind.
I haven't done that. That was mythical.
That was me. My bad.
Somebody has just completely messed me up on the name of that team. But I think
Nico did it to me the race before, but yeah, but it's the thing.
I think we're going to take a short break before that so we can get set up, and we'll be back to you guys with grand finals in just a few minutes. Stick around. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Co-op Mystery Tournament Top 4. It's not even the top 4 anymore. We're down to the top 2. 2 months ago, 36 teams of 2 individuals each joined this tournament, hoping to blind race in a ton of games and fight their way to the top. And 2 months later, here we are. We have the final 2 teams. We've got Team Bathtub and Team Osteogenesis Imperfecta fighting out for that number 1 slot. Now, as a reminder, this is going to be a best-of-3 match with Team Bathtub already up 1 game. That means if they win either of these next 2 games, they're your champions. But if Team Osteogenesis manages to squeeze out 2 victories in a row here, then they will take the crown and move on to be the first ever co-op mystery tournament champions. Now we have a really wonderful game here coming up for you guys. It's super cute, super well made. And you know, Roar, you're actually the one who brought this game to my attention, so please go ahead and talk about it while we get the racers set up.
So, while we were doing setup for co-op tournament, an interesting thing happened, and Sammy, team, apparently has friends with a lot of developers and was talking about the event, and some developers actually reached out to me. So, the thing about this game that's different from a lot of other games in co-op tournament, or that we've seen thus far, is that this is an actual full-on Steam game. This game costs $12 on Steam. The developer gave us the keys for testing, gave us the keys for the thing, and gave us the keys for, well, let's get into that. Please, before anything, the first thing that I need to state, in most importance, GDQ is not involved in this giveaway in any way, shape, or form. This is between MysteryFunHouse and the developer of the game, of this game specifically. So, during the course of the race, if you go to MysteryFunHouse channel, go to the MysteryFunHouse's chat and type in the keywords here that are about to show up in chat because delay. MysteryFunHouse has just told you what to type in. Type in Bun Bun because everybody's excited to see Bun Buns. Go to MysteryFunHouse, follow, type in Bun Bun, and you will be entered to win a copy of this given away by the developer for MysteryFunHouse. And remember, you need the exclamation point. Bun Bun with an exclamation point. I'm seeing the Bun Buns. So, that has to be done in the MysteryFunHouse chat, guys. I love the excitement here in the James Done Quick chat, but that is not the right chat. It must be done on the MysteryFunHouse chat. So, at the end of this, I'm going to roll Nightbot to see who wins that key. All right. So, with that said, I got to ping the developer real quick and let him know that games are going on.
Yep, and while you do that, it looks like we're just about ready to get started. By the way, that's super generous of MysteryFunHouse. Huge shout-outs to them for providing that quick giveaway. Yeah, it looks like we're just about ready to go. So, I think let me just check with the racers real quick, and we'll get started. So the rabbit and the owl. It's just a cute, stylistic puzzle game. You have the rabbit who's on the left side of the screen there, and the owl who's on the right. In the middle of night. And it's, you know, one of those classic space games where only one character can inhabit a certain type of space, the other is in the negative space, and they have to work together to solve platforming puzzle challenges. Super fun genre that adapts itself really well to co-op events like this. I'm looking forward to see how our racers are able to handle some of the puzzles that are coming up. Aurora and I actually tested this one directly, and let me tell you, there were about 20-30 moments of we're idiots. We are absolute idiots.
We're idiots. There is no way to mask that other than Scent. You and I are idiots.
Sometimes we're idiots, but you know what? I'm excited. We're here. We're in Mystery Tournament Grand Finals. We got some Bun Buns. We're gonna see Bun Buns on screen soon enough, and I'm loving it. We're just holding up 1 second. Looks like there's a slight technical issue we need to take care of, and then we will be off. So, Roar, real quick, you want to give everyone a reminder of what Mystery Tournament Co-op is?
So, yeah, welcome to Mystery Co-op Tournament. You all may know what Mystery Tournament is. The Mystery Tournament is blind racing, where we do the blind racing, where you and your opponent have to complete a goal faster than the other one. And the main thing is that neither of you have played this game before. So, that's normally Mystery Tournament, but what if we added a player 2 to the equation? And suddenly you get Mystery Tournament Co-op. So we have all sorts of games, and this one is a good one. This one is a puzzle game, so you have to do some co-op puzzling action. 2 brains, 1 game, the feeling of just sheer stupidity. We've had some amazing games that have come out of this tournament. We've had some amazing stuff, and I'm so excited to see this finally coming to an end in such a great way, and it looks like the racers have started.
Yep, the races are off. So as you can tell, one character controls the owl, seen there in black and red, and the other character controls the rabbit, seen in white and blue. And, the rabbit can only walk on some of those surfaces, the owl can only walk on the others. Both characters actually have the ability to create a block of their color that they can put in the negative space of the other character. So we'll be seeing some of that to solve puzzles, but this first puzzle is pretty simple. The goal of every level is to get the rabbit and the owl to the exit marks simultaneously. They both have to be touching them at the same time, or the level won't end. And of course, being a puzzle game, a lot of the trouble comes in. Well, okay, we got the rabbit there. Crap. How do we get the owl over there?
Yeah, I can't count how many times we ended up sitting there at the goal, and we're just like, wait a lot. What's going on? Also, the ability to taunt. There is a game to there is the ability to taunt, which is probably going to be seen. We've told them how to taunt. So set and place your bets. Who do you think's the first person that's going to actually taunt is going to be?
That's a good question. I want to say that it's going to be Team Bathtub. I feel like of the 2 teams, they are the team most likely to get in a little taunting while they're waiting for puzzles. They're also slightly ahead right now. They very quickly realized what they need to do with these blocks.
I too would vote on Team Bathtub. Andy is a big fan of useless button presses.
Yes, he is. The notorious Kururin race, where he's just nothing but honking the horn repeatedly.
He won a mystery tournament because he honked a horn.
So we're now coming across the main mechanic of this game. Either character can create a block inside of their other character's zone. However, while you are manipulating that block, you are completely unable to move. So there's going to be a lot of one player sets up things, second player sets up other things.
Yeah, and we're seeing it here on Team Bathtub stream. They both instantly understand what they need to do here. Owl helps Rabbit get on top of the stage, and then Rabbit helps Owl get to the goal. Now, in a lot of this game was admittedly designed for single player, so a lot of these stages you definitely can do things simultaneously. But like in the stage that Team Bathtub is in now, it's very sequential. So I think this is when we're going to see the taunting come out, if ever, because Rabbit has to go over there to help the owl has to do the same, and just back and forth. You got to put a block down so you can stand on a block. It's a lot of back and forth, but it's good puzzle design. It's head scratching puzzle design, and again, we definitely had a lot of moments playing this where we're just like, oh, it's that simple.
Yeah,
it looks like you just got to be able to push that outside of the range.
So again, thanks so much to like I said, the developer themselves gave us the keys for this match, gave us testing keys, gave us keys to give away. So another thing to note is that you'll probably want to pay attention to, if you like this game, pay attention to Mystery Funhouse in the future, because I do have another key to give away, just not yet.
That's something good to know. And yeah, there we go. Team Osteogenesis figures out they need to put the block up top, and then Rabbit can push the block over, stand on.
And Osteogenesis murdering their friend right at the goal. That's what co-op tournament is truly about. Is murdering your friends at the last moment.
I'd completely forgotten that you could drop blocks on people. Thankfully, it didn't cost them anything there.
Yeah,
but that was a fun surprise. As the Tea Party Cthulhu put in chat, it's really not a co-op game unless you can, mess up your friend.
Yeah, the girl.
There we go. So we've now entered Chapter 1. was it C chapter 1 or C chapter 2? Yeah, because it's gonna be
the last stage that they're on. That's the first. Is that one requires a respawn, or can you just actually get through that quickly enough? I guess.
You can get through that quickly enough.
Yeah.
It does not require a respawn.
I like the respawn. I would like a respawn mechanic like that. I feel like that's probably in later levels.
There's no level inside of this goal in which a respawn is required.
Yeah, I'm assuming not in the goal, but like if you have something like that in the game, everything's set up for it.
Did we say reach chapter 2 or clear chapter 2?
It's clear.
It's clear. We are clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they see 3, that's when they know they're done.
Yes, when they see chapter 3. I don't actually remember chapter.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here going, wait a second. Did we actually only clear to the prologue and then the chapter?
No, we definitely cleared up to chapter 3 because we were at this for a solid hour. I expect this will probably take these teams about a half an hour. Again, we cannot overstate the fact that we are idiots.
Look at the speed in which they are.
Gotten this game. Me and my teammate are big puzzle players, so this would have been a lot of fun for us.
Oh yeah, this would have had glass keepers written all over it.
This stage teaches both the characters that Bathtub's on a very important fact that by pressing X you can pull the blocks, which just kind of adds a new dimension there. You can only drop that block down in a space big enough for the block with no room to get behind it. So hey, now they know. Oh, you can pull blocks.
Pulling blocks?
It's a crazy mechanic. I don't know how we're going to deal with it.
Block is pull, man.
Revolutionary.
All right. And yep, Bathtub again. They think they know exactly what they need to do, but there's a bit of a catch here. How does the owl get back? And the rabbit falling off is not the solution to that. Let me tell you. I did that many times.
It looks like if they can create it right at the edge of there, yeah, just like that, and they can just get over.
Push it off, jump over, and they figured it out. But it looks like Osteogenesis has actually caught on pretty quickly too, and
that's a lot of catch up they just got right there.
Yeah, I mean, again, puzzle games in Mystery Tournament are notoriously volatile because you can be just steaming through them, having absolutely no trouble, and then you get walled, even just for a couple of minutes on a single puzzle, and it can feel over.
Yeah, there's been times I've been racing puzzles and I was stuck on the first level for forever, and then someone who wasn't in the race said like, "Man, they're all stuck at the same point," and I just calmed down immediately. It felt really good.
Yeah, that's not usually information people have.
Yeah, it's not information you get, but like I was really happy that happened because I was walled on the first level of this really simple game for so long. It looks like Osteogenesis is taking a bit of the lead. I don't know if they do.
Yeah,
oh, right, I see that.
They figured it out.
Yeah, they figured it out. Push that block over there, and
pull it. You just learned pull. You got to pull it.
That's true. That's true.
You can push. There we go. That's going to allow for Osteogenesis to take the lead. Lead change!
Yeah, well done to them. But again, it's not over. There are still plenty of stages for the two of them to progress through. But yeah, I gotta say, one of the things I really did enjoy about this game was just the art style. I've played games in this genre before of the whole like one character in the light, one character in the darkness, but I really love the aesthetic they went for. Everything's kind of just has that right level of luminescence to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I tested a bunch of games like this for the previous mystery tournament when I was trying to find submissions, and none of them looked anywhere near as polished and clean as this. They all were kind of not greatly executed. This is really nice.
Yeah, this game was like when I first saw it, I was like, all right, so I just got given keys by a developer. We got to try this, and since but I already have most of my top 8 set, and I'm like, but we got to try this sometime. It went something like that, and eventually we're like, all right, we played this, and we didn't even make it through like 4 levels before. Well, it was like 4 levels in where we were like, I don't know how this feels with it being like one player does a thing, other player does a thing. But then you kind of realize just how much optimizations you can make in all of that movement. And by like level 6, we were in love with it or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. We fell in love with this game pretty quickly. I actually just heard. I think I heard Andy off of Team Bathtub have a moment of realization about what they were doing. I thought they were on the right track, but now they just seem to be like flipping the lever back and forth.
Yeah.
They seem a little lost.
So based on osteogenesis, I'm just gonna take a guess. They might want to put a block on that one switch that's off to the side that no one can access yet. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, now the trick here is having Rabbit stand on that switch to keep it held down, and then having her give Owl a box that he can then push through that area to reach the lower switch.
And that looks like what they're doing right here. And I'm assuming that switch just solves the rest of the level.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite, because Rabbit has to get back up there in time to hit the moving elevator.
And I do believe that the developer of the game may very well be watching right now. I let them know when it is, so.
Oh, that's super cool.
So, Dev, say hi in chat if you're in chat. If you have the power to, just say hello.
Yeah,
I'm sure 1,000 hellos are going to come in to just pretend to be people, but still. Thank you for this lovely game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm assuming that Rabbit needs to give Owl the block, and it needs to kind of be maintained there while they're standing on the switch. And Owl goes and pushes other buttons so Rabbit can get into the right place.
Well, what they might have forgotten, and I think maybe what they're just realizing, is if they put a block on that leftmost switch, it's going to cut down the wall in front of Rabbit. That's going to let her get into a position where she can put a block in there, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I had a feeling there was going to be an I'm Spartacus moment as soon as I said this.
but the thing is, what they need to do is do that from the other side of that wall, because now Rabbit can't get to her goal.
Yeah. And it looks like they know what to do now. They're on the same level again, but who knows how long that's going to take. And oh, Owl putting his block down too soon.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, taking his block up too soon that time destroyed Rabbit's block. Got to be careful about that.
Yeah, in chat, Gary Barry X is the actual developer.
I'm curious as to why. Okay, now they just drop it, and it goes down.
Yeah, they just let it go, and then Owl can move. Now Owl's free to hit the switch, and that just solves the level.
And it looks like same thing with
yeah,
Bathtub. Both of them, the catch-ups are real.
Again, like I mentioned, puzzle games are just so volatile.
Oh, gravity switching, or at least wind.
Yeah, this is super powerful wind. Powerful enough to let you walk on the ceiling if you want. But yeah, like that's puzzle games and mystery tournament for you. Even if you're ahead for like the entire race, and really feeling yourself, it just takes like one mistake and it's over.
I'm liking how they have to use that wind to get that block up there.
Yeah, they've already discovered that that's a mechanic. That's I think something that actually took us a little bit of time. But yeah, now Rabbit can drop a block down there.
Well, yeah, the main problem is that Owl had to be standing on the switch before putting the block of the wind, I believe. Unless that you can't.
I think you're right. I think Owl has to stand on the switch.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now it's doable.
Because it turns out Owl just has like a pretty free ride here.
Yeah, I think we overthought the ending of this like really hard.
Yeah,
we did some like crazy thing where Owl had to look around twice to put a block somewhere.
I think I ran like
go to the goal. We're done.
I ran like 4 laps around this stage. It was dumb.
It was pretty silly.
Oh boy.
And we actually saw the taunt there over on Team Bathtub.
Yeah, I think I've seen Osteogenesis do it a few times too.
Yep.
All right.
Very important tech. So now we have these moving platforms that I really love. They're such an interesting mechanic because they're moving platforms for one character, but then they're also like moving play zones for the other character.
Yeah, and that's going to come into some really cool puzzles later on.
It's you got elevators and you got platforms.
All right, guys, one more reminder, because I don't know if Nightbot has an expiration on just how long its giveaways last. But remember, if you go to MysteryFunHouse, the channel, and post the keyword bun bun. Oh, that's not the word. That's how did I end up with a control R with an R? And how did it get deleted? Oh, because it's a single letter. Yeah, thanks, Darkman. I don't know what happened there. If you type in bun bun exclamation point, yeah, you can get the possibility of getting a copy of this game.
There you go. We got it worked out in the end. Yeah, shoutouts to Mystery Funhouse for organizing that giveaway for us. Super cool of them to do so, and super cool of the developer to provide them with the keys too. As we see Team Osteogenesis dropping blocks on each other.
Yeah, whereas Bathtub seems to have figured this out. They just had to bring a block from the other side.
Yep, and Bathtub again just takes a lead. Osteogenesis, they're struggling. They're not exactly sure what to do here.
Nightbot does not require capitalization. Just for those questions.
Oh, I just heard Boney say, "I get it."
Yeah,
So
I think
I'm
Boney
hoping,
figured it out.
I think Boney realizes what he needs to do, but but he crushes himself with the wind. That is exactly what he needed to do.
That is 100% shout-outs to figuring out what you need to do.
Yep, that was perfect. Excellent timing.
Meanwhile, not a lot of progress over on Bathtub side right now. They're just kind of moving back and forth.
Yeah, they're messing with the way. So this is the stage that kind of teaches you about wind and momentum.
That's
it doesn't
not
look
how you do
like
that.
It doesn't look like Rabbit should be able to get up to that switch, but she can because momentum.
Boney's trying to pull this push block and it's not working, or someone's trying to. Okay, well that works.
There's some level of got it there.
Yeah, all right. They figured it out. They got there.
All right, they'll be right behind Bathtub. It looks like Bathtub has cleared this next stage.
And this game, again, this is far from over.
Or
oh, somebody did the right emote on Osteogenesis screen and got the Praise the Sun achievement.
Yeah, I believe the owl can praise the sun, which makes no sense, honestly. Why would the owl, like he's an owl, he should be asleep. Go to sleep, owl.
Yes, salute the sun.
Okay, everybody, say hello to this stage. I think this might have been one of my most favorite stages in terms of hatred.
I think this stage might have actually taken us like 15 minutes or something to solve, because you have these rotating platforms that, of course, the Rabbit can get into, but she can only get into them at certain angles because when they go completely vertical, they'll drop her down into other platforms. So you have to figure out how to get Owl, or how to get Rabbit from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. But it's not that simple, because at the same time, Owl has to make his way to the upper right side of the screen, which is only doable if that button in the upper left is being depressed.
It is, in fact, Rabbit that does Praise the Sun, as we see Andy doing it a bunch of times, or whichever one was whichever. They actually did identify.
I am factually incorrect, the worst kind of incorrect. And okay, good. Team Bathtub has already realized that they can just momentum jump onto that platform, and they don't need to do the crazy, perfectly timed drop the two of us thought you needed. At the time, it seemed like a good idea.
At the time, this idea was amazing.
We did some really crazy solutions, okay?
Alright, and now...
And Osteogenesis and Perfecta catching right back up.
Yep, they are back on the stage, but the stage is definitely a long one because you do need to wait for this central platform to rotate.
And
Quite a
a
bit.
single mistake could undo a lot of progress.
Yes, Leontes44 in chat saying that it's great because you don't need crazy execution to pull off any of the puzzles. That is entirely one of the greatest things about this game is that it does not require ridiculous execution. One of the great things about this game also is that if you do have ridiculous execution, you can make ridiculous plays, which are absolutely ridiculous in hindsight.
So ridiculous?
Pretty ridiculous. We
All
did
right.
some dumb things.
We did some, but I mean that's the best part of every puzzle platformer game, and I mean it's why I love the genre, and it's why I think as much as it is kind of overused, I don't want to admit that we overuse it here in Mystery Tournament Finals, but we have a tendency to favor it. But the truth is, it's such a great genre for mystery games because there's always that opportunity to go beyond and just do something absolutely ridiculous. Even when maybe it's not the best idea.
All ideas are good ideas when they're puzzle games.
Look, all ideas are good ideas until they're terrible. That's how ideas work. And Team Bathtub actually using really good manipulation of that lever to make sure Rabbit gets to the upper right. They moved her back and forth a few times to make sure she didn't fall down when it went vertical.
Oh, but little do we know, we have a button all the way over there that we have to press.
Yep, looks like they just saw that. Meanwhile, it looks like Team Osteogenesis sees that button right away, but they're not exactly sure how they're supposed to get up there.
Think they're planning on trying to jump up there with Owl and then place the block on it from the other side, but I don't know if it'll reach.
I don't think it'll go far. Oh. No.
If he was further to the left, maybe.
Pretty clever try.
I'm not sure that would actually do anything for them in the long run, but it's definitely a cool idea.
I believe that Scent, you can confirm Wizard of Legend with Parsec was actually the thing that you originally showed me Parsec on, right?
Yeah, that's actually how when Or was, saying, man, I really want to do a co-op tournament, but I don't know how we're going to get everyone connected. I was like, oh yeah, I've used this program and been able to play a game called Wizard of Legend, which was pretty fun. Unfortunately, not really too fitting for this tournament as it's very roguelike inspired. So
yeah, we just had somebody in chat questioning whether or not they would work with Parsec.
Oh yeah, that's actually I think the game that inspired, effectively maybe even inspired part of the event. Both teams now really struggling on this puzzle. It's, again, like I said, definitely one of the more complicated ones. A lot of moving parts and a lot of things to consider. And again, you have to wait for this middle platform, and it feels especially awful when you're Rabbit. I played Rabbit in our playthrough, and you get caught in the middle of that rotating bar because there's absolutely nothing you can do. You basically just have to wait for another cycle to go around.
All right, looks like they might have. There we go.
He makes it up, but unfortunately, there's really nothing Rabbit can do.
There we go. Bathtub has the solution. They just need to eventually get there.
Yeah, they realize what they need to do. It's just getting Rabbit up to that area. That's the challenge.
What? Stepping off the button to make it a straightaway? You monsters.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job with controlling the rotation of these blocks by manipulating buttons and levers. It's something we admittedly did not do in our playthrough, and we'll have to see if Osteogenesis picks up on.
No idea what you're talking about.
So it's okay. It's okay. I have no pride anymore. Yeah. Osteogenesis trying to put a block up in the upper right corner with Owl, but unfortunately, again, that just doesn't really do anything for them.
Now, again, keep in mind, this is the grand finals. So this is a one-win advantage for Bathtub here. If they win this game, they win the tournament. This is a best 2 out of 3 with winner's advantage. But if Osteogenesis can come back and win this, then there is still another game to be played. Admittedly, I would have loved to save this for best of 3, but I wanted to make sure that it got play. Or I would have loved this for the Super Grand Finals game, but I more or less wanted it to be played. Everybody's favorite mechanic, everybody in chat, who loves time switches?
Nobody likes timed switches. So yeah, the little flower switches are timed, and the petals run out, the switch automatically turns off. You can turn the switch off manually to refresh it, which is kind of a good strat. Looks like Team Bathtub pretty quickly understanding. Yep, these switches are timed.
Osteogenesis. Can
Yep,
they figure out the
figuring
last bit?
Slowly, they just gotta get the last part. Send an
Osteo can
L
still catch
somewhere,
up.
but or Rabbit somewhere, but Rabbit can't go anywhere.
No, Rabbit can't go anywhere because Owl moved the block. They had it. They had it and then they lost it, and that is always the worst.
They should be able to clear this pretty soon. What is it? Bathtub just enter chapter 2 to number 2, the Archivist.
Yes,
Yep.
they are in
Okay.
chapter 2. So when they clear this chapter, the race is over.
Listening to Bathtub's audio, or not Bathtub's, Osteogenesis' audio. Seems like Boney is masterminding the entire plot.
All right, looks like
For better
they
or
have
worse,
some
it looks
level of
like.
idea.
So not so good about the momentum jump getting over.
Yeah, it looks like Team Osteogenesis is trying to do that trick we discussed earlier, where you just perfectly fall off of this and land on the block. It is technically possible. I don't recommend going.
Yeah, it's actually costing them like huge.
Yeah, I would want to try to extend it all the way and then try to do a momentum jump up there.
Okay. For the record, this level that they are on right now for Bathtub.
I don't want to talk about it.
If there was ever a level where we were the dumb,
I don't want to talk about it. I think Roar circled the stage like twice before we figured out, oh, you could just put a block from ground, right there.
we went all over the place trying to get that block in the right spot. And all we needed to realize was, oh yeah, you could just put it on the ground.
I'm confused as to what Bathtub is doing though.
Oh, Osteogenesis. There we go.
Bathtub has the right idea. They've realized that you could put a block, like you can use that switch to elevate a block up top and this button down.
Osteo, you don't need that block. In fact, attempting to use that block is going to be a trap. Don't do it.
Well, that block is fine.
No, I mean, it's wasting time, that's all. Congratulations, you reversed the flow.
They'll figure it out in like a second.
All right, yeah, Boney figured it out.
Good job, Boney.
Yeah, Boney figured it out. He realized now that Owl's up there, he can push a block down to Rabbit, and they can solve the puzzle together. So yeah, this stage really did wall them, probably about as long as it walled us. We'll have to see if they can make a comeback here against Bathtub, who are...
Yeah, I don't know how many more stages there are left, so it can be anyone's game.
I want to say 5 or 6 at least, and some trickier puzzles among them. Meanwhile, Bathtub, they figured out that that's an elevator. They figured out the purpose of that, but they haven't quite grasped what's supposed to go in it. Right now, they're trying to get Rabbit to do like some
What are they trying to
crazy
do with
momentum
Rabbit?
jump. They're trying to get it to jump back up to the switch by using it. It's like
That
a little
seems dangerous.
forklift. All right, yeah, it looks like Osteogenesis has finally figured it out. They're getting Rabbit to the end now, and then Owl should just be able to, take the gust of air up and get to his end.
And they might not get. This is a level that might wall Bathtub enough to catch on, because the next 2 levels were, as we saw, just quick introductions to mechanics.
Yeah, the first couple of levels are just kind of introductions to time switches, so there's definitely an opportunity for Team Osteogenesis to catch up. Especially because Team Bathtub, again, still just struggling with this elevator. They understand what it does, but they don't understand why.
It's like they got a switch down there that they could use.
It's okay, they're still
blocks
like
trigger
1,000 times
switches?
faster than us.
Yes, blocks can. Well, you mean the timed ones? No,
Yeah.
blocks cannot trigger the timed switches.
Okay, because that's exactly what they just started trying right now.
I don't blame them, honestly. That's it's not a bad thought. Like, oh, can I drop a block on it? But yeah, it looks like they've discovered time switches, and hopefully they'll be catching up here soon. Meanwhile, again, they made a huge stride earlier, but Bathtub is kind of just sitting in the tub right now, not really doing too much.
Bathtub is fierce, though. I mean, if there was a combination of players that you could say, man, I really wish that there's not this specific team in co-op tournament, Bathtub is it.
Yeah, there are few teams that I would want to fight less than Crank Dud and Andy. Andy, of course, being the 18-time Mystery Tournament champion, and Crank Dud having 6 or 7 top 8 performances to his name. That is a very, very scary team.
Let's see if they can figure out how to. The Osteogenesis trying to use a block to push a time switch, but it's not going to work that way.
Nope, that does not work.
No, it's just everything is just timed. That's it.
It looks like Osteogenesis kind of realized what they need to do, with the timing of their switches. They're just having trouble with the execution of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like they realized they could double tap their switch to reset them, which I'm actually not even sure if that's an intended mechanic or not, to be honest.
I think it's gotta be.
Looks like they got it this time, as they don't jump.
So what has to happen is that the owl needs to give a block at that point during the middle of that movement. Oh,
yeah. Well, Al's upside down. He's gonna want to put a block on the elevator there. That's the key. They have every part of this puzzle solved, but they don't have the key. That's how a lot of the puzzles in this game feel designed, and that's something I genuinely do love about the game. Is a lot of the things are like, aha, I've got it. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have it.
Yeah. So he does need the block on that last part. Yeah, there was the double tap to reset from,
Yeah, it looks like Boney's reasoning it out right now. I think he's trying to talk through it for both of them. He knows what he needs to do, he's just not sure about the timing of it, which again comes into play with activating the switches at the right time.
They had the solution on Bathtub's side, and then they just stopped holding down the buttons.
That is the worst feeling, because you really want to go fast in this game, and they figured it out. We put a block on the elevator, we rise it up, we push something over, we're good, we did it. Okay, now I can let go of that, right? And go to my goal, right? No, you can't.
Meanwhile, this is still only a 1-stage gap, and somehow I feel like they aren't quite. What am I trying to say there? That I feel like never mind. I was going to say that they weren't quite closer to the solution after all that time, but they very much were.
Yeah, no, they had it figured out. They just someone stepped off their button too soon.
So
Yeah.
this one had a
They had
really
to-
cool solution.
Yeah, getting into the later half of chapter 2, you really start like experimenting with how you can move blocks and characters through these different, changing platforms.
So again, for a lot of people coming in, new to the scene here, welcome to Mystery Co-op Tournament. The mystery community, the mystery community does a tournament semi-annually that does is a blind racing tournament where you and your opponent get games that you've never played before, and you need to race it faster than your opponent. This is a variant that we've started doing when me and Alpha started up the MysteryFunHouse channel to start broadcasting races, because originally during MT11, people were asking, hey, is there anybody who restreams the normal races? And the answer was no. Why not? So I started doing restreams. Alpha started doing restreams, and eventually we realized that it's bad to have the races on my channel when I'm also trying to do other stuff. And so we wanted to make a channel dedicated to it. And when people are playing mystery races, they often choose, because you got to put your game in Twitch. Oftentimes they choose a specific game to represent it, MysteryFunHouse. So when we were trying to figure out the name of the channel, there was only one very, very obvious solution to that question. And so the MysteryFunHouse was born.
They did it.
And we do, on top of streaming Mystery Tournament, we also do alternative tournaments, like a Reject Tournament, which was made of nothing but games that just aren't acceptable for Mystery Tournament, and was overall a terrible, terrible, bad idea. Why did people put themselves through it? And Co-op Tournament, we'll be having other tournaments coming up soon. I know that one of our members of our community, Blade Twin Swords, is looking at doing a Doom Wads tournament, and then I've got a number of variations in the future. So, keep an eye out on the mystery Discord. If somebody who can post links can post or if there's a command in there that posts to the mystery.beatthega.me link, there you can find our Discord, or if you have a Discord link in the commands, I don't know. You can view our Discord and take a look at the events that we have. These are open to everybody. We also have a Mammono Sweeper tournament coming up soon too. So we have lots of fun stuff in the future, and it's in, we ain't slowing down. So even if mystery, the full shebang bang isn't your thing, we're planning on a lot of stuff coming up. So.
Hey, you should definitely check that out. So, meanwhile, in the meantime, it's looked like Osteogenesis did finally get the answer to that puzzle. Now they are confronted with the dangerous elevator. They've already gone up too soon. Yeah, we'll see if they can figure this out a little faster than Bathtub did. Meanwhile, Bathtub, I honestly don't know if they've made much progress at this level or not. I think this is the correct solution. They're going to get a block down to that lower left switch, and then they should be able to get Owl up with another block. I think if Rabbit just lets go of that and Owl stands on it, yeah, there we go.
Oh, nicely done.
And now just one more little block assist there from Rabbit. Let the switch timer expire, and yep, that's going to do it. So they've gotten through that stage. I think there's just a couple of more to go now. There's one in particular I'm really looking to see how they solve. But
yeah, they've got like two. I know they have at least two stages left in. Oh god, this one.
This is another one of those stages that
Oh god.
Oh, just like looking at it, it's such a simple puzzle until you're actually playing it, and then it's suddenly the most complicated puzzle ever.
Why did we not realize we could reach that sense?
I don't know. This is one of those things where, like, you look at it and it's like, wow, this puzzle should take like 20 seconds, and then when you're in the heat of the moment, it's suddenly trigonometry.
I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about. There's like a couple things and like that I'm like, yeah, they might be like slightly out of reach, but it should be fine. Don't know what that switch does in the bottom right. Oh, I guess they gotta get Owl up first, but just dropping that block down there, that jump should work?
Nope.
Okay, it doesn't. So there's
Does
something else
not.
they gotta do. That was the first thing I would have tried. And it looks like Osteogenesis actually has the solution to the stage that Bathtub was stuck on for literally forever.
Yeah, let's see if they accidentally.
Yep, they sure did.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So they'll be solving it around the second time.
I mean, this one can wall Bathtub for a long time if they don't realize.
I'm just so glad that every team has attempted.
Is pushing back gonna land that on there? Nope.
I'm so glad that every team that has attempted the puzzle Osteogenesis is on has had to like loop around at least twice. It makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
about not getting this puzzle for like 20 minutes. Like, oh, okay, it's an elevator.
Or where we're at right now. Well,
Oh, except there's a problem.
Oh no!
White didn't step on the switch. So they gotta okay. So White, step on the switch, please.
Step on the switch.
Yeah.
You're not on the switch.
Oh, the bunny. The bunny's not gonna get on the button.
Bunny
Oh,
sucks. No. Oh my god. Meanwhile, on Bathtub screen,
Bathtub won't clear this until they figure out one key, very dumb thing.
I like how we've just completely stopped commentating and gone straight to heckling.
I haven't pushed.
No, not that they're dumb for not figuring it out. Just
no. I'm just like we all understand. Just like come on, buddy, get on the switch. No, you didn't get on the switch. Thank you, you got on the switch.
I'm just wondering why Bathtub hasn't pushed all of the buttons everywhere. I don't think they have. And there's a block, but it doesn't go up all the way.
Nope.
Nope.
You cannot put that block up all the way. I mean, do you want me to just tell you? Do you just want to
we
know?
gotta watch it.
All right, because there's one thing that everyone is overlooking. We overlooked it. They're very much overlooking it right now.
It was so bad.
It hurt.
Once I did it, it was like, oh god, why?
It's hard to see like what's going on.
Oh no, wait, I was the owl, wasn't I?
You were the owl.
Right.
Yes. I was the rabbit.
There was when I pointed out, I was like, try this, and it worked, and I was like, I just can't anymore.
It really is like they're gonna try everything under the sun before they realize why that moving platform is actually there. Here's a hint: it's not to put a box on.
It's an elevator.
And again, it speaks volumes to how well designed this game is, in my opinion. Like, the best puzzle games are the puzzle games that let you think you know exactly what you're doing until you realize you have no idea what you're doing.
So Osteogenesis is actually like not solving this.
Yeah, they were at the end, so I'm not sure what they got held up with was.
I think Osteogenesis maybe finally has they were standing still for a while. They were having a bit of a powwow there, just thinking about it. But,
yeah, they forgot about the block, and then so they have the block again.
Bathtub trying all sorts of jump on the block tech. I believe we tried this too.
We did. We tried the jump on the midair block tech and then bounce off of it. Wow, that actually worked.
Yeah.
If they solve this puzzle by using jump on the block tech, I give up. They can just win.
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be high
so
enough.
close.
Yeah, might need a little more height. Again, this is absolutely not what you're supposed to do for this puzzle, but wow, that worked. That is not the solution.
They
the
did
buddy
it?
can put a button on the
They
switch
did it?
from under the platform.
Oh my god! It doesn't help them. No, it does. Yeah, it does.
No, it
Oh my
does,
God.
What are you talking about?
Oh
yeah,
my god!
that's the. So the answer there is that the bunny can put a block on that button from
Yeah.
while she's standing under the elevator. The elevator is there to crush you. It's not an elevator.
Yeah, the bunny has enough range to put the block on that switch from the left-hand side. The moment we realized this was the moment of, oh god, we are actually probably the worst at this game. But
Yeah,
more
that
impressively is what the actual the bathtub just did.
Yeah, that's
tried that.
100% not intentional. I'm glad the devs in chat. I hope he saw that and was just like, "Yep, Yep,
I
this one
mean,
was gonna do
just
that
just
eventually.
allow it. Just allow it. That's fine.
Like Gary Barry, if you saw that, you need to enjoy that. Is what you need to do.
Osteogenesis.
This puzzle has Osteogenesis' number.
I mean, again, bathtub was here for about as long. It's just they were stuck on the previous stage.
Oh yeah, unintentional speedrun solutions are the best solutions.
Indeed.
All right, so we have at least 2 more stages still, because I recognize what the last stage looks like. Ugh. Sent, good news. It's been 46 minutes. You know what that means? We might
This game
not be
wasn't
the
over in
worst-
5?
We might not be the worst people ever.
We might just be average?
We
Oh,
might
whew.
just be average.
That's
Yep.
good to know, because yeah, this goal took us like an hour.
If this was
Agreed.
parsec only, that'd be a shame. I really would want to play this, but
This is parsec only.
Yeah.
It has
Unfortunately, and understandably, online. So the stage that not Osteogenesis, the stage the bathtub is on right now. This is another one that was just
yeah.
we
So
spent a lot of time doing all the
You don't
wrong.
need that block. Just go down, hit the thing, fly up, land on your thing. Say the word thing a bunch.
Yeah, it's just and again, you know, as people who are just sitting here watching this, as people who've played the game before and know the solutions, it sounds easy and it seems easy, personally reasonable. But like when you're in the heat of the moment, especially when you have all the pressures of a race situation going on, you're just like, I don't know. Especially if you're in Osteogenesis, where if they lose this game, the tournament's over. Like this is tournament point for Bathtub. They win this, it's done. They get the title. They get to go home. Call themselves winners. I mean, their team is Andy Crankdud. I think they already get to call themselves winners, but now they're co-op winners, and that's important.
What's more than that is that there's during the end of the mystery during co-op tournament, there ended up being a prize. So they're actually racing for a prize at this point. For a surprise prize.
A surprise prize is the best kind of prize, if I do say so. Again, I feel so bad for Osteogenesis because I thought they understood exactly what they needed to do, but they're on the wrong track, and that's something worth talking about in a general puzzle blind sense. Is the idea of getting on a certain track. Like it's very easy to think you know the solution to a puzzle and to single-mindedly hammer away at it. Like, okay, I know what we need to do. I know what we need to do. All we have to do is like this, and we'll be fine. When it turns out you need to do something completely different.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal this since the stuff came in, or since the possibility of it came in. The prize for this, by the way, there was a surprise prize. I didn't tell people that there was one because in case I couldn't actually pull it off.
Push the button. Push the button first.
But
I don't know why I'm not pushing
the winner
the button.
of this tournament will be receiving a friendship locket. Ooh,
Brady. I feel so bad for Osteogenesis.
All they have to do is push that button, so that
all they
it
have to
stays
do
down.
is push the button, and it's done. They've won.
It's been driving me insane. They're just like, there's wind here. I can't possibly pass these strong winds.
That's right. I'm gonna go on Etsy and find somebody to make them a proper friendship locket that says Mystery Co-op Tournament and each of their names on it.
Well, it's a super nice prize. It's a great prize to show your camaraderie and all that it took to beat this tournament. And it looks like Bathtub, they figured it out. Rabbit needs to wait on that higher block because she can't jump back up after the switch is pulled. Now Owl can just take that block all the way to the bottom right, and he's good to go.
Yep.
And then I think there's two more stages, and that'll be that. And Bathtub just kind of taking a demanding lead in this game. They lost a little bit of it in Chapter 1, but then they came back strong. Yeah.
Still more than 2 stages left.
Still more than 2 stages left. I forgot about this stage.
It's the strangest thing with Osteogenesis is that they push that button. They push it at the start, and they don't notice that it holds it down for them.
It holds it down for them, and it doesn't get rid of the ladder, which is the important distinction, because the switch gets rid of the ladder.
Yeah. And so if they go push the switch now, then they can get up to where they need to be.
So anyway, on Bathtub Stream, you guys are seeing the first instance of these new pushable blocks. They're, just like the blocks the characters can make, but they can be larger or even smaller. And they just exist in the stage. You can move around. They act as space for the characters. And the cool thing we're going to see here is the idea that passage was too small for the owl to get through. So Rabbit had to use that white block and drag it across the top to give him enough headroom.
Osteogenesis finally got it.
Oh, did they get there? Don't move the block early. Okay, we're in.
Remove it and then get on the thing, and
We're
let's
in.
see if they can play catch up. I don't know if there's any more walling stages.
There's at least one more pretty difficult stage left in this goal. So there's a chance. There's always a chance. Again, we talked about it earlier. I'm going to keep talking about it till the cows come home, until the rabbits and the owls are done. It just takes one stage, and you can go from a 20-minute lead to being an hour behind in a puzzle game.
And do not underestimate the final stage of this game.
The final stages are a little tricky. Now, that said, they might have, developed the skills playing this game far enough to just conquer it in 1 or 2 seconds, Again, we played it. It took us like a little over an hour, but we're also very stupid. So, who knows? These guys are the best of the best. Again, we started this tournament 2 months ago. 36 two-man teams entered. These are the final 2, and it's no accident. One of these teams, Team Osteogenesis Imperfecta, lost in round 1. They lost in round 1 of a double elimination tournament. They're in grand finals. And of course, Team Bathtub, they haven't lost yet. And at this rate, I'm not sure they're going to.
Okay, so it looks like Osteogenesis cleared this next stage really quick. They just got to get that one jump with Owl, and the time is ticking down.
Yeah,
Gets it.
So let's talk about some of these teams that we saw during this. We had Alpha 5 and Sir Nico, Glabus's Glasskeepers, a pretty strong team. We have some new people that came in. Plenty of new teams showed up for the first time. We had some notable ones, of course. You know, we had Jal and some girl who've been good friends since Mystery Tournament 10. We have Bro Edgman who showed up during the SRL Season 2 and ended up joining in the co-op tournament. As a result, Exuno and Hopscotch were some of our racers. Exuno and Hopscotch are our core Mystery Tournament testers. We've had let me see. We had Sammy and Soapy again. We're team was their first showing on this. We've had I know a lot of people know BB Forky and Lightning were part of it. We had Freeball 1 and Goose were also part on the we're also teams here. We had Captain Drake with Tetsuya, Nest Kamikaze and Mundungu. We had, you know, Nighty and Ridley Dragon. We had a lot of people, and even Adam Numbers and NPC. You know, we had a lot of strong teams.
While you were talking about that, they immediately figured out the stage.
Time catch-ups.
We're gonna see if that's enough to get that block there, and gotta pull it.
Pull. Don't forget that there's a pull button. Don't forget the pull button.
There we go. Can make it to that switch. That's a non-insignificant catch-up.
That is a very non-insignificant is the right word there. That is a huge catch-up if they finish this.
And now they're just trying to figure out how to get everyone to where they need to be. Oh, I see what they're doing. They're electing to see where that goes to figure out if it blocks anything so they can move Owl again. I like that decision.
Man, I stepped away for 30 seconds and Team Osteogenesis has already conquered the moving elevator problem.
Apparently they did it instantly.
Yeah, that was like the second thing that they tried. They tried jumping and then they just tried putting it on the switch. Although they might miss just putting the block over there with Owl to get them up there, but I think they got it.
Yeah, I think they just realized.
Or not. Make the okay. I don't know if this works, but you know, maybe.
No, we tried this. This was one of our bad ideas. Yeah, what if Rabbit could just make that jump? She can't make that jump.
She can almost make that jump. Jump in the elevator.
Maybe she can make that jump, actually.
Yeah, if they get it right there, like on the edge, she can make that jump. She can totally make this jump.
Oh yeah, she could just make that jump.
There we go.
All right, cool.
Because after I saw the first jump, I think I would have done exactly what they just did.
Yeah, we tried that, but I guess we didn't have our block far enough over. That was a really smart play there.
All right.
Yeah, now, unfortunately, this is another really difficult thing that Osteogenesis is on, and meanwhile, Team Bathtub has to, at this point, be like 2 or 3 stages away from the end. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to tell how far in they are, just because the stages themselves don't have names, even though the chapters do. So it's a little tricky.
Oh my god, we made this go long. We really made this go long.
That's all right, though. That's, more puzzles, more mystery for everyone to watch. It's a good thing.
Is there a place to get a game list for this tournament? Why, yes, there is. I will go ahead and send that information over to Darkman right now. Let me go find it.
No, Bonnie, just walk in there.
Oh.
Take the elevator there, please.
Commentating these puzzle games is always so hard because
they got an achievement for killing Owl that way.
Trash.
For killing Bunny. You just leave the block on the switch so that it comes back. Get in it. Don't just put the block in there. Walk in it. Why? There's nothing you can do with it there.
Alpha, I feel I understand. Again, like I was saying, you can't get the block up there, Bodhi. It's done.
It's not even. Ah!
Alpha, I know, you're getting crazy, but it's so hard. It is so hard as someone commentating and watching this, and especially as someone who knows the solution, to just sit here and be like, "You fool! You foolish fool!" Oh, but I think okay, he figured it out. He needs to get in there.
All right.
Yeah, so the spreadsheet that Darkman just posted, that is all the games that we played during Mystery Co-op Tournament. And you can also see the unused 3 games that we did, because we did not play Gyromite, Goof Troop, and Trodlers on account of most people having had played them.
Goof Troop, great co-op game. Everyone's played it, but great co-op game.
Oh yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, Team Bathtub has gone ahead and finished that level, and
This is it. This is the final level.
I think this is the final level. Yeah, this one
is it.
also took us a long time because of that freestanding black box up there at the top of the screen. We had some interesting ideas about what we were supposed to do with it. I still am not sure if they were correct ideas.
They were so wrong. We were so wrong about everything in this level. We were so wrong about everything in this level. We completely unintended solutioned our way to the thing.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Team Bathtub realizes what they need to do, and I think they've already figured it out. much to my personal chagrin. I think they know exactly what they're supposed to do with that block.
Is it get it on the Switch?
No, it is not.
Is it push it down so you can make a jump?
That is much closer. Oh, the teamwork coming out of Team Bathtub right there to get on the other side of that block.
All right, Sent, do you think I should do this thing while they're on the last level, or wait for them to finish?
Oh, just wait for them. It'll be
Wait
okay.
for the finish.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. They needed it to make a jump.
They needed to make a lot more than a jump.
yeah. So when we played this level, our idea was to let Rabbit just go to the left immediately. We were convinced that was possible. Probably not. But they figured it out, that you got to take a whole journey around the world with the block.
What? Okay, at least it respawns there.
Yeah, luckily that block. So that block. So what we did here was dumb.
Very, very dumb. But that's okay, because I think they know exactly what they need to do here.
So while that switch is pressed,
Yeah,
everything
nothing else
stops.
seems to be
So
moving. So
if they don't do this carefully, though, they're going to get crushed horribly.
yeah, it doesn't look like they're set up in a position to get things into the right order. Okay, that's unfortunately just slightly out of range. That's a good attempt.
It's a
But-
solid effort.
They need to pull that one block back.
So what we ended up doing was a terrible jump that ended up pushing this slightly off, and then jumping over into the gap that was made.
Yeah, I
standing
think
in
I would
and
have
then
done that
shoving it off
first.
as well.
Yeah,
I think I would have done that first because it looks so much faster.
That was what we thought you had to do. We didn't even see the solution until we tried that a little while. But we were just like, oh yeah, this is simple. You push the block off, and then I jump into it as it's falling, and it's fine.
Yeah, this looks fine.
That is basically the solution right there. Now just make a box.
Yeah, they're
Look at
fiddling
that.
with it.
Look at that.
No, I see what they're
It
doing.
doesn't make it.
I bet they're gonna try and do the midair jumps again.
Oh no. Oh yes.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
they are.
they're going for the midair jump.
Oh, so close!
Gotta give them respect for figuring out how to actually. We tried this so many times and just got crushed every single one.
As long as they don't crush Rabbit, this won't waste time.
Ah, they
Oh,
crushed
Rabbit just
Rabbit.
Respawns right there.
Yep.
That's so easy. Just do this forever. They got like 20 minutes probably.
They
And
did it. They make the dumb jump. All they have to do is just shove it off, and they win. Just push it off.
Yep. They did it. They're in
Goodbye. That's it.
That
That
was-
is.
That would have been horrible if they pushed it and then
there. It
it
fell
just
all the way off.
straight all the way off.
That would have been amazing.
That is, I do believe, chapter 3 being seen.
Yep.
All right, guys. So if you posted the thing in Mystery Funhouse's channel, Nightbot says,
Yep.
I will send the information out to Mika4334. So please send me a friend request to Mystery Funhouse, and I will send you the key information, Mika. Congratulations. Remember,
of course-
this was in no way affiliated with GDQ. This was all thanks to the developer who wanted to get, to give out a key of their game to some lucky viewer. So
shout
thank
outs
the
to them,
developer.
and of course shout outs to both of our teams playing. Bathtub, they struggled for a bit there. I thought there was a chance for back with some of the amazing plays they had, but at the end of the day, Andy, Crankdud, those are names to be feared in the mystery community. That is a team to be feared in the mystery community, and they did not lose a single match. And I'm actually really sad or two, because I think you knew about the last game we had lined up, and it was
Do I?
it was going to be something.
I
I'm
remember
thinking
the
about
last
maybe oh no, I told you about it. I'm thinking maybe a bonus race one day. One day we'll do it as the weekly. You all have fun with it. But
All
for
right.
now, let's give our congratulations to Andy and Craig then, and of course to Boney and Carulius of Team Osteogenesis Perfecta. They played amazingly well. Again, they lost in round 1 of a double elimination bracket, guys. There were at least 36 teams here. They played through, I want to say, 8 or 9 losers rounds flawlessly to make it to grand finals. And they played their hearts out. It just wasn't enough today. But one day it'll happen. And, huge shout outs to them for placing second. But of course, Team Bathtub, it's Andy with a 4, and Crankdud are your mystery co-op tournament champions. And it looks like Boney and Kay are actually going to throw a towel. They've seen the dot done, and they're pretty good with it. But again, mad respect to them for all their plays today, and mad respect to everyone who joined in Mystery Co-op Tournament. As a reminder, guys, you can head over to the Mystery Tournament website if we have a command or someone could drop that Mystery Tournament website link over there. Join the Discord, hang out with us. We do all kinds of events. We're doing co-op event. There's a Mono Sweeper tournament in the works. I think the guys are, Mystery Tournament 14 is already underway, but I think the guys are already planning for Mystery Tournament 15. Get in there, get ready. It's a ton of fun. It's a great way to sharpen your speedrunning skill. A lot of this just transfers over really well to casual speedrunning, and it's just a great way to find all kinds of silly games that, who knows, maybe you'll go on to play for a while. I think we had a few examples of people who have picked up a game from top 8 or just from their mystery tournament experience and really worked hard at it and wound up running it at other marathons, even GDQ. I think Get Out of My Way or I'll Eat You was one of them.
Oh yeah, good old Get Out of My Way. I'm trying to eat you.
Oh yeah, that was classic game.
Oh,
Classic.
actually, a fun one. Get Out of My Way. I'm trying to eat you was actually a reference to a team name for Goose and Freeball 1. We're actually Get Out of Our Way. We're trying to mow our way to victory. That was their team name.
Yeah, Team MoTV was pretty good.
All right, so actually, let me see here. Give me one moment. I think that we're actually. Whoops, I cut off on something. Give me one moment to say something real quick. So I just got to check one. Yeah, so turns out we have a race for Mystery Tournament that has just started. We've just gotten the give game for that. So I'm going to go ahead and run on over to the Mystery Funhouse chat or channel. Thanks. So you're going to hear some doubled up audio if you're on both channels because I'm going to start up the setup stream for reasons. But so we are going to be B-Roar works too. So we do have a race coming up here on Mystery Funhouse. So if you are interested in watching, we're going to get that going on. So we're going to transition right into that. Thank you so much, Hotfix, for hosting this. Thank you so much, Sent, for finishing it.
Thank you so much for organizing this tournament, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, we have a couple of things to mention, but we'll get right over to that race. And I'm sure you need to run over and go set them up. Alpha, thank you so much for coming on to commentate, man. Always a pleasure hearing from you. Hopefully next time it'll be you in that top 4.
But, I'm hoping we won't only get beat 'em up games and 10-minute puzzles, but we're gonna figure out our hosting situation. We could only do direct net play, and that didn't really work out so well.
Yeah, I imagine that was pretty rough. But always great having you on. Thanks so much for showing up.
It's been a pleasure. It's always fun to commentate these races on GDQ.
All right, guys, and that is going to do it for this edition of the GDQ Hotfix. Thank you guys so much for coming out and watching. Like mentioned, we're going to go ahead and raid Mystery Funhouse. But before we do have one quick announcement, just as a reminder. In a little less than 2 weeks from now, starting on Friday the 26th, this channel, we're going to be showing Games Done Quick Express. That is a live Games Done Quick event straight out of TwitchCon. We have so many games lined up for you. It's going to be a wonderful event. Head over to gamesdonequick.com. We have the schedule available there for your viewing. It's going to be super fun. I'm dreading it, but I'm looking forward to it so much. Can't wait to see you guys all there. But for the moment, let's all head over to Mystery Funhouse, watch that mystery tournament race, go support that community, guys. Like I said, join the Discord. You're going to find games you love. You're going to find games you like. What should we raid them with? Let's I'll put a raid message in chat real quick, and we will it's a good call. Oh, and by the way, huge shout outs to Muffins, who's been behind the scenes working our tech all day for like the past 6 hours. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to Muffins. Thank you so much to Darkman, who's been behind the scenes organizing all of the racers and making sure everything runs smoothly. Huge shout outs to the GDQ Hotfix crew. Always a pleasure to be here. Anyway, let's go ahead and give them a raid with the raid message. There we go. Raid message in chat. Go raid them. As always, guys, this has been the GDQ Hotfix. Make sure to tune in 2 weeks for GDQ Express, and we'll see you guys then.